Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, September 15th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Houston Texans. And this is Monday Night Football, a doubleheader. Obviously, the next game will be the Chargers versus the Raiders. And can't wait to be able to see what we're going to get here today. Houston is a 2.5 favorite at home. We haven't really had the best of luck in prime time. But what I do know with Baker Mayfield, he's thrown the second most touchdown passes since 2023. So at this point, we know that if it's a close game and Baker Mayfield has the ball and we're down with a minute or two, whether it be Emeka Egbuka, who had 2 touchdowns as a rookie from the Ohio State University, who could win Rookie of the Year, Mike Evans, or someone else that could step up like Bucky Irving. We like our chances here today. Now, we know the Texans dropped game number 1 against the Rams, and they didn't look good. So they're kind of in a similar scenario as the Seahawks, where this is a must-win game for them. We ended up winning on the road and beating Atlanta. And again, we're going to have to try to be able to do something that a lot of people don't think that we're going to be able to do, is win another game here on the road. But I definitely feel that with the Packers and the Eagles, they look like the 2 best teams, in the NFC. But I believe if the Bucs can get the victory here, it'll be them and the Rams right below those 2 teams, Packers and Eagles. And then you have a lot of other teams that are in the mix, like the Lions, Seahawks, Commanders, Falcons. And it's going to be definitely spicy here in the NFC. And specifically, obviously, in the NFC South, we saw how good the Falcons looked and how bad the Vikings were yesterday. And now J.J. McCarthy ends up having a high ankle sprain, but it doesn't really matter. That team obviously ended up doing well week 1, not so much in week 2. And we need to get the job done here early and often. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes. 100 on the dono train. And we'll obviously be going for 5 to 15 new subs. Take a look at the thumb and get ready for Monday Night Football. And on the thumb, on the left, one of the best wide receivers ever to play the game, Mike Evans. ME13, baby. And on the right, one of the up-and-coming stars in the league, quarterback for the Texans, C.J. Stroud. And I think this thumbnail turned out pretty damn well. Let's go, baby. Chargers and Raiders should be pretty exciting as well. We know the Chiefs have dropped to 0-2. Chargers looked pretty good, obviously, week 1, getting that victory. And we'll see if they can end up winning on the road with the Raiders, obviously with Ashton Genty from Boise State. And again, we'll see what we get here. But it's not often that we're going to get a doubleheader on Monday night. So I'm definitely excited. We're just going to be doing this game only. And then I'm going to watch privately with the pup, obviously the Chargers and Raiders after. And then as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll be transitioning into the Mariners versus the Royals, Mariners versus the Astros. Obviously, I know there's a WWE PLE on Saturday, as well as the Ducks and the Beavers, and the Mariners and the Astros. So depending on what time everything is, I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as I can, but definitely looking forward to this opportunity on Monday night to kind of buck the trend, so to speak. Again, Monday night and primetime games, Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night haven't really been too kind to the Buccaneers, within the last few years. But I definitely like our chances here today. I do think that we are one of the top 3 teams, with the Packers and the Eagles. But again, we're going to have to try to get the job done here today to prove that point. And again, it should be a pretty close game. I wouldn't expect a blowout on either end. I could definitely see the score being, like 23-20 either way. But I'm hoping and leaning that the Bucs can find a way to win 23-20. And as long as we end up getting the dub, even if it's only by 1, 2, or 3, we're going to end up taking it. Daniel in the building, what's good? Bucks, Rays, Bolts in the building, what's good? Marine Bean in the building, what's good? Let's get it, baby. Yeah, I think everyone is watching all over. So it really depends on if you're on the West Coast, in the Midwest, or the East Coast. Some people will be watching on ABC, but I imagine a majority of the country is watching on ESPN, ESPN the app, or ESPN.com. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, Rangers and Astros start a set of 3 games, Bob. And again, that'll be very interesting to see. And I guess at this point, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We don't really want, as Mariner fans, either team to win. But I guess if you had to choose one team to win over the other, we're rooting for the Rangers to beat the Astros. So that way we can continue our dominance at the top of the AL West. Stormbum in the building. What's good? Yeah, they had the Vegas line, the Texans by 2.5, and I'm okay with that. If we're going to be underdogs and we're going to be, kind of doubted, it's okay. We haven't been the greatest, on prime time, so there's a reason. Now, if we had a better record on prime time, maybe we would be favored, by 2.5. It would never be a Bucs by 7 or the Texans by 7, because remember, Houston in week number 1 against the Rams looked terrible. And again, we almost lost if it wasn't for a missed field goal by Koo. They replaced him with Romo, and he went off for 1 billion field goals yesterday for the Falcons. So the Falcons are going to be a good team this year. It's going to come down to the Buccaneers and the Falcons for the NFC South crown. We're trying to win it for the 5th year in a row. And that's not something that is easy to do no matter what division that you're in. The Saints are terrible. The Panthers are terrible. The Falcons are good, and the Bucs are good. And again, this is going to be a must-win game for both teams. And we want to start off 2-0. The Texans want to get to 1-1. Something's got to give. And shout out to NFL Shop for the new merch. Obviously, anytime you can get the new on-field gear. I'm loving the new black, obviously, icon and with the new hat and whatnot. And I'm always going to be repping the Bucs all day, every day with the dry-fit gloves. Let's go, baby. And again, the gloves are something that have been a part of my collection since 2010, 2011. Back in those days, that's when the Oregon Ducks first came out with the gloves that had the wings on them. And then the NFL decided to kind of piggyback off the Oregon Ducks. And then they ended up making gloves for every team. So if you are looking to be able to rep your team to the highest level, you can always go on eBay and look up to see what those gloves will run you. And usually they're not too much, typically in the 75 to 150 range. But I think it's one of the coolest items that you can get as a fan to rep your team. And obviously I got a few pairs of the Ducks, some that are game used from the Natty against Cam Newton, others that were limited edition. And then obviously these ones were fan-based gloves that they decided to do for every team around that 2010, 2011 period. Let's go, baby. I don't got any Mariner gloves, only for the football teams, just the Buccaneers and the Ducks. I got 3 sets. I got game-issued, player-worn Natty gloves when we ended up losing to Auburn in the Natty in 2010 when we had LaMichael James. And then I have, obviously, the kind of limited edition gloves that are kind of neon green that I usually wear to the games when I go to the Ducks, but I can't usually show them on stream because anything that's kind of green or yellow that you show on stream gets distorted. So usually I wear the other ones instead, and then obviously these Buccaneer ones here. I'm not even sure if they make Mariner. I don't think they make any baseball version of these because these are obviously like receiver gloves that got obviously the special material that the obviously the receivers use as well. Trying to get everything situated here as we're getting ready for kickoff. Here we go. Nice cut towards the outside. Jalen Noel with a nice return. 62-yard kick back to the Tampa Bay 35. 34-yard return. Let's go, baby. We definitely got to get pressure here on CJ Stroud early and often. Stroud passes it towards the sideline and complete. Nico Collins. And I'm going to try to change my setup here, I think. Give me 1 sec here. I'm thinking if I go this particular route, it's going to be a little bit smoother. Oh, nice catch there by Hutchinson. CJ Stroud short middle to Hutchinson for 9 yards. Tackled by Smith. 3rd down and 1. Come on, Bucks. Come on, Tampa. Chubb up the middle. And Nick Chubb for a yard. Let's see if they end up marking that. I imagine he got the 1st down. Weird to see Nick Chubb in a Texan uniform after all those years with the Cleveland Browns. We know how good Nick Chubb was, but a lot of serious injuries with his knees and legs over the years. 1st down, Texans, move the chains. And again, we're going to have to try to, get some fumbles, get some picks, and again, they're going to be very motivated being here at home after looking not good in week 1 against the Rams. So, again, we know that we have a few guys out. We're not 100%, and again, with no Wirfs and Godwin and a few others. Handoff up the middle. There we go. That's the gang tackle that I'm used to. And again, led by Levante David and Antoine Winfield Jr. on top of Vita Vea and new additions like Hassan Reddick. Hopefully these will be enough pieces for us to be able to make some big plays here, not only to start the game, but obviously to end the game as well. Loss of 2 by Nick Chubb. Dennis and Reddick there with the gang tackle, with Vita Vea approaching just shortly behind. 2nd down and long. 2nd down and 12. Get his ass. Little screen pass. Blockers downfield. Oh, bouncing it to the outside. Great run there by the Texans. Bad D by the Bucks, which, again, I'm a defensive-oriented fan. So, again, I got the Derek Brooks vintage jersey on. And, again, I'm always going to be about the linebackers and the safeties. Not that I don't appreciate quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I do. But I understand how important it is for the offensive line, the D-line, the defense, the coaching, the play calling, and the coordinators. But Nick Chubb, looking like vintage Nick Chubb there from the Cleveland Browns, rumbling and a bumbling, and a nice trip up there, Antoine Winfield Jr. And, again, we got to make sure we're holding them to 3 if they're going to be ground and pounding early here against the Bucks D. Shotgun set for Stroud. Floater, going long, going deep, 1-on-1, out of bounds. Wow, they called touchdown for Nico Collins. I don't know if he had both feet down, though. Let's do a review. Let's take a quick peek. He's out. He's out. I don't know if you can call that a tutty. Great throw by CJ Stroud, 1-on-1 coverage. And again, they are going to be able to pick up on some of the secondary pieces. We do have some injuries there. Under review. It's close. I mean, since they ruled it touchdown on the field, I assume that they're going to keep it touchdown. They're not going to say there's anything there to overturn it. So it looks like we're going to be down 6-0 here early. Great job by CJ Stroud early. And again, this is not something that I wasn't expecting to happen. I know that they are going to take advantage of some of the, weak spots that we have on the team. And obviously there are going to be some pieces there at corner that they will try to take advantage of. Now, obviously we got Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the best safeties in the game. But again, he's not going to be able to cover every single wide receiver. And let's be real, CJ Stroud and Nico Collins are a great, 1-2 combo that are in this league. So I'm hoping, that we'll be able to limit the damage, but it looks like the damage is already started to set in early. And again, we don't have Tez Johnson playing, Devin Culp, Tristan Wirfs, Chris Godwin. So again, we are not 100%, but again, we should be in a few weeks. And again, I would assume that's going to be reviewed, and that will end up being, obviously they shouldn't have any evidence to really overturn that, based on the replay there. Field stands, and we are going to get an extra point here shortly. And plus, it's going to be different, than playing at home than on the road. Vibes are a little bit different. It's a little bit harder, obviously, to play on the road. And again, we're just going to have to try to keep pace, with this team. And again, they're the more desperate team. Right now, we're 1-0. We beat the Falcons after Koo missed a field goal. So again, we're kind of playing with house money. We would love to go 2-0, and they lost badly week 1 to the Rams and didn't look good. So now, being at home, this is a must-win game if you're a Texan fan. So, again, we understand that. So we're going to have to do anything and everything that we can to keep pace and hopefully find a way to win by, maybe 3 at the end. And again, Nico definitely broke out last year. And we know that when he's healthy with CJ Stroud, they are pretty hard to stop. Now, just doing this game alone, and then I'm going to spend time with the pup, and then we're going to be doing Mariners and Royals Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll end up doing the Seattle Mariners versus the Houston Astros. Touchdown is upheld, which is the right call. Extra point is up, and good. 7-0 Texans. Great job by Houston, setting the tone early, exactly what they wanted and needed, being the home team. Obviously, not getting a pass rush on CJ Stroud early, a little disappointing. And obviously, we need to be better with the run defense as well. When it goes up the middle to Vita Vea, we're going to be able to contain there. But again, it's like we got Vita Vea, we got Levante David, we got Antoine Winfield Jr., but then you got a lot of other guys, that are going to get picked on, from time to time. And there's going to be certain guys like Zion McCollum and a few others that will be able to make plays, but there's also going to be times where they're going to get burnt. So really, if I'm being honest, the only 3 guys out of the 11 that I trust, every single play are going to be Vita Vea, Levante David, and Antoine Winfield Jr. And then for the other 8, I just have to pray that they can play up to the standard of the other 3. But again, the Texans will pick on those weak spots, and they apparently already did here early. All right, Baker, we need you to bake, baby. Let's go. But again, we got one of the best offenses, even though we don't got Wirfs and we don't got Godwin just yet. Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka. Obviously, Jalen McMillan got, kind of hurt with his head. And, injuries have been an issue. But again, we can't make excuses. We just have to get out there and play the best ball that we can. And here we go. And a kneel down into the end zone. Fairbairn and a touchback to the 35. Let's go, Baker. We need you to bake. 72 touchdowns, 26 picks, great numbers, second most in the NFL since 2023. For anyone that doesn't think he's a top 10 quarterback, he is, and sometimes he even plays like a top 5. Let's go, Baker. Let's go. And I really miss Tristan Wirfs up front. That's going to affect the running game and the pass protection game dramatically. But again, hopefully we can get enough, with the running game, with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. And again, we're going to be able to sling it. That's what Baker is great at. And he'll be able to improvise on the run. Very good with play action, very good with the bootleg. First down and 10. Baker. Pressure up the middle. Bouncing it to the outside and throwing it away. Good decision by Baker. Incomplete. Second down and 10. With a pass incomplete to the short right side. Come on, Bake. Evans, Egbuka, Sterling, Shepard, Kate Otten. Let's go. Graham Barton, Michael Jordan, and Redison, and Yudeke. Let's go. And we got a new offensive coordinator this year, so obviously things are going to be a little sluggish, early on. It's not going to be like we've had the same OC for years and years and years. Handoff up the middle, and breaks one tackle there. Rashad White for 4 yards. Third down and 6 here at the Tampa 39. Stroud throw was fantastic. I will agree to that. Hunter up front. Al-Shaair. Got to watch out for a few of these individuals. CJ Gardner-Johnson. We'll see where we go here with the football with Baker Mayfield. Audible at the line. And Baker Mayfield. Shotgun set. Looking for Evans. He's got it, baby. There we go. First down, Bucks. Move the chains. And the first ballot Hall of Famer, if he ends up getting 1,000 yards this season, he'll break Jerry Rice's record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And again, when it's all said and done, Mike Evans will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he will be, going up the ranking list with all of the top wide receivers that have ever played this game. Consistency is king, and there's nobody that's been more consistent than Mike Evans. That's in the league right now. Let's go, Bake. First down and 10, man in motion. Shotgun set. Pressure on the edge. Baker steps up. Floater going deep. And intercepted. Oh, dropped. What happened to my hands? And Al-Shaair should have had an easy interception there in his hands and dropped. Thank God. Second down and 10. And again, Baker's got to be a little bit smarter. You might be able to pull something like that off at home with Tristan Wirfs up front. But again, if you're going to throw in a double, triple coverage, that's not going to be a recipe for success. You got to be better. I know you want to get Emeka Egbuka the ball. He had 2 touchdowns in the game winner last week, but you can't force it. Okay? You got to let the game come to you. Second down and 10 at the Tampa 47. Shotgun set. Baker looking. First down, Bucks. Move the chains. Cade Otton, baby, from the Huskies. We got a lot of Ducks and Huskies on the roster. And again, we're going to need them to play well here today. Let's go. We're going to have one of the, top 5, top 10 offenses in the league. Really, the weakness on the team, is going to be certain pieces on the defense. But the offense should be very, very exciting. And again, we know the Packers and Eagles are great. And I definitely feel that, if we can get our players healthy and the defense to step up, we should be in that same realm. Hand up the middle. Bucky Irving breaks 1 tackle and not the second. Nice 6-yard gain there for Bucky Irving for my Ducks. Go Ducks, baby. Second down and 4 to the Houston 35. We got the Royals tomorrow on a 3-game set. The Mariners do. And then after we go on the road to play the Royals, we go on the road to play the Astros. And the Astros and Rangers are playing right now in a 3-game set. So we're going to be rooting for the Rangers, and then hopefully we can beat up the Royals and the Astros on the road, or at least try to win 2 out of 3. Then we play the Rockies and Dodgers at the end at home. Man in motion. Second down and 4. Baker, good protection up front. Steps up in the pocket. Run! There we go. Keeping his eyes downfield and even throwing it down. He could have ran for that first down. And there we go. Sterling Shepard, the former Giant. First down, Bucks. And again, imagine if this team had Tez, had Chris Godwin, had Tristan Wirfs on top of everything that we have. Again, this is going to be a very exciting offense. And again, even with key pieces, one of the best offensive linemen not playing yet, Tristan Wirfs, not having Chris Godwin, typically a top 20 wide receiver with Mike Evans, and with Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan injured as well. Like, if we had a full complementary unit, again, 4 studs at wide receiver, 2 good running backs, 2 good tight ends, good offensive line, shotgun set on first down and 10. Baker, floater, Mike Evans, baby, and a flag on the play. And let's see what they call here. Is this offensive pass interference, or is this going to be defensive pass interference? They're going to call offensive pass interference on Mike Evans, which is rare. Let's see if he actually pushes off or not. Yeah, he does. Good call. Good call. And again, Mike Evans typically is not known for pushing off. And again, we're going to have to make up for that. And I won't be shocked if Evans makes up for that at some point in the game and gets in the end zone. But good call by the refs, because again, we're going to get that same kind of call with Nico Collins pushing off, and you just want to make sure you call it right down the middle. First down and 20, 7-0 Texans, 8:23, 8:15 now and counting. Let's go Bucks. First down and 20 at the Houston 30. Shotgun set, 3 wide receiver set. Baker with the draw. Bucky Irving breaks 1 tackle, bouncing to the outside. There we go. Down to around the 19, 20-yard line. 10-yard run by Bucky Irving. Go Ducks. Second down and 10 at the Houston 20. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 new subs. Not having Wirfs is killing us, but we still found a way to win week number 1 against Atlanta, a very good team that should be in the playoffs this year. Man in motion. Shotgun set for Baker Mayfield. Good protection up front. Baker looking, going deep. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Let's fucking go. Bang. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Ryan Miller. I mean, we're talking a guy that's usually like 4th, 5th, 6th string. But when your 4th, 5th, 6th string receiver can get tutties, you know you're in fucking business. There we go, baby. Bang. That's what I'm talking about. Baker is so good. And again, he's got the second most passing touchdowns since 2023, which may be shocking to some. But again, Baker is the perfect person to take over for Tom Brady. That type of swagger and confidence and energy is a perfect fit in Tampa. We're very intense and we get the job done. Extra point is up and good. And that's exactly what we needed. You know, we didn't want to go 3 and out, punt, turnover, only kick field goals. We got to match this energy of the Texans. And there you go. Buck showing that, hey, we can be the 3rd best team in the NFC with the Packers and Eagles as long as the defense doesn't blow it for us game in and game out. Offense is great. 7-7, Bucks and Texans. And this game already within the first, couple minutes is already going to be more entertaining than what we saw yesterday, right, with the Falcons and the Vikings. That might have been one of the more boring games that we've seen in 2025, but you're not going to get boring with these two teams here tonight. Great job. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah. That's exactly what we needed. Mike Allstott approves. Let's go, baby. Vintage Mike Allstott. Great job, baby. Let's go. Great stop by Baker Mayfield. And again, not very many people are going to be covering Ryan Miller. Great job. 20-yard catch. And then McLaughlin with the extra point. And he's been pretty good. We've had some pretty good kickers over the years. We've had Martin Gramatica, who was a stud, in that first Super Bowl run with Sapp and Brooks and Simeon Rice and John Lynch, Rondé Barber, and Mike Allstott, Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardell. I mean, I can go up and down the list on the roster. And then obviously guys like Matt Bryant, that played with the Bucks and the Falcons. But McLaughlin has been pretty good for us. And again, when you have a reliable kicker that can kick field goals and extra points, which is something that a lot of people take for granted, it feels really good when you have a guy that you actually believe in. Facts. 7-7 here early, Bucks and Texans. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 new subs. Let's get it, baby. And we'll see if one of my leads will come in here. And then if they are busy, then we can count on some of the regulars to help out with the likes other than myself. Like we got 102 in the room. We're at 21 likes. Let's see if we can get to 50 at least by somewhat in the second quarter, and then we can pick up the other 50 before the game ends. Let's go. And again, being a Buck fan isn't something new to me. I've been a Buck fan for 30 years, right? So since 1995. So this is nothing new for me. All right, here McLaughlin with the kickoff, and 58 yards. And short return, one tackle miss, nice stiff arm there, and a decent return there from the Texans. 27 yards, Izzian pushes them out of bounds. But again, special teams and defense, that might be some of the weak links for the team, but the offense is definitely top 5, top 10 in the NFL. Let's go. And I got the vintage Derek Brooks jersey, back when the jerseys were Reebok instead of Nike. And again, I'm going to need a throwback type of performance here by the Bucs today. First down and 10 for Stroud. Play action fake, bootleg, get him. And he runs toward the sideline. Flag on the play. That's coming back. That's a hold. Bring that back. That's a hold on the O-line. Or they can call defensive holding. Oh, Reddick, you bum. Come on, bum. What are you doing? Come on, Reddick. You can't afford to have you doing defensive holding. That should have been offensive holding. What are you doing? Terrible penalty there on Hassan Reddick. What are you doing? Dude, what are you bear hugging him for? What an idiot. Yeah, the same as me. Derek Brooks from Florida State, Warren Sapp from the U. You're just like me, my guy. Second down and 6. That's when I became a Buck fan at that point as well. So 1995. We're tied up here 7-7. Nice 4-yard run there. And again, we've had, those type of players that we had back then with, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott. I mean, you can't, ever replace those kind of guys. And that championship will always be more coveted than the one with Brady, which we appreciated, having Bruce Arians and Brady and Gronk and fly like a butterfly, sting like AB. But nothing is like your first one. And floater down the sideline. Come on, Bucks. Terrible defense there by Tampa. Great offensive play there by the Texans. And Woody Marks, man, looking like Arian Foster out there in his prime. Come on, Tampa. And again, we are going to get exposed, from time to time in the running game and the passing game. There's no doubt about that. This is not the same type of era of defense that we had in the Tom Brady era, or even going back to the Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Simeon Rice era. There's a lot of holes. Now, we definitely believe in Vita Vea. We definitely believe in Lavonte David, and we believe in Antoine Winfield Jr. But other than that, everyone else is kind of, up in the air. Second down and 2, up the middle. And Chubb almost getting that nice first down, 8-yard run. And again, the defense should be not this bad early on, but again, we are on the road. Second down and 2. And we got to be able to hold this team to some field goals here, but at least it's some fun action here early, trading touchdowns back and forth early in the first quarter. A hell of a lot better game than yesterday with the Falcons and the Vikings. That was a snooze fest and a field goal party. Second down and 2, man in motion. Stroud, hands off, hit him. Wrap him up, damn it. And Tampa, prides itself on defense, flag on the play. And then finally we get the offensive holding call that I wanted earlier, but Reddick was being an idiot. That's on Howard. There we go. Yeah, I love me some Antoine Winfield Jr. Love me some Vita Vea. Lavonte David will be a first ballot Hall of Famer stud. Very underrated. And again, we just need others to step up. Second down and 12 at the Tampa 20. We need fumbles. We need picks, fumbles for touchdowns, pick sixes. We need to be able to have some game changers on the defensive side of the ball. Second down and 12, shotgun set, pressure on the edge, and good tackle there finally. All right, go here. Big play here. CJ Stroud on fire early, 5 for 6 with 105 yards and 1 TD. And we got to hold them to a field goal if possible. Shotgun set, Stroud. Pressure up the middle. Stroud, floater, and complete, overthrown. There we go. Hold them to a field goal, baby. And no bots. We don't want you.
There we go. We're going to hold them to the field goal, and that's exactly what we needed. And hopefully we can respond with a touchdown of our own to be able to take a 14-10 lead if they make this 3 here momentarily. Yeah, we might actually face you guys in the playoffs. You know, quite a few people are, Mariner fans. Obviously, I've been a Mariner fan since the Griffey days as well. And Tampa is the only team that I root for that's outside of Oregon or Washington. And, I'm a defensive-oriented fan. Kick is up and good. And Blue Jays are solid this year, just like the Tigers, Astros, Mariners. And again, you got Yankees and the Red Sox. So it's definitely up for grabs, and we definitely feel at this point, that the Tigers, Blue Jays, Mariners, may be the front runners, but again, you never can count out the Yankees, Red Sox, or Astros, if they're in it. But, again, lack of experience may come back to bite the Mariners, the Tigers, or the Blue Jays. But it's been a great year for the Blue Jays and the Mariners up to this point. And, good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll end up, facing each other down the road. And obviously we know in the National League, it's deep over there, right? You got the Phillies, you got the Brewers, you got the Cubs, right? You got the Padres, you got the Dodgers. So, I mean, it's anybody's guess, what the World Series matchup is going to be. But right here, right now, we got Texans 10, Buccaneers 7. So far, so good, though. We'll take it. Reflect in the building. What's good? Didn't like to see the defense look, so shitty early on. But, again, this is a must-win pressure game, for the Texans after getting embarrassed against the Rams week 1, looking terrible. So, again, they don't want to start off 0-2. You start off 0-2, the chances of making the playoffs go dramatically down. And, again, it's not impossible to make it, but statistically speaking, if you go based off the last 40 years, you start off 0-2, you might not make it. So, again, this is going to be a really strong effort for Houston. We ended up finding a way to win week 1 against a good potential playoff team in the Falcons with Koo missing a field goal. They benched him, brought in Romo. You saw him kick 1 billion field goals for the Falcons. And again, that field goal party game was a little boring. Vikings and J.J. McCarthy, obviously, as we know, has a high ankle sprain and he's out. But even if he wasn't, he looked terrible yesterday. And, I don't assume the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. It'll be the Packers and Lions in that division, the Buccaneers and the Falcons in the South. Probably the Eagles and the Commanders, and then you're probably only going to be looking at one team making it in the West, more than likely the Rams, unless they end up having some serious injuries. And then obviously in the AFC West is up for grabs. Maybe the Chargers are the front runner. If the Broncos would have won against the Colts, maybe they would have been, but they've been a little sluggish early on. Obviously, we know the Bills have to be number 1 in the AFC with the Ravens, and then we'll kind of see how the rest of the divisions kind of play out. Colts playing well early on, Chargers playing well, and then we got the Chargers going to the Raiders later tonight. And if the Chargers start off 2-0, then they're going to be the front runner there. So it's going to be a long, fun, interesting year as they show Booker T there on the sideline. And I'm ready to see if we can take the lead here. Let's go. Expos, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Oil Can Boyd, big hit. Andres Galarraga. I love the Expos from back in the day. I wish the Expos still existed. It would have been much better than having the Washington Nationals. They got some of the coolest hats, coolest uniforms, coolest colors, and a really cool history. And it would be cool to have 2 Canadian teams, not just the Blue Jays, but the Montreal Expos. I think a lot of us feel that way. Not just, former Expo fans, but I think baseball fans in general would have preferred the Expos to still be in existence rather than the Nationals. I know I'm not the only one. All right, here we go. Baker Mayfield. Let's bake, baby. Let him know, Cody. Thank you. It's a brand new 2025 collection. I got a brand new Ducks beanie that's on field, but it's black and green, and it's got like green and yellow tag in the back, but I can't wear it on streams because, it gets distorted, anytime you have green or yellow. So I can only wear it in my own free time. But I figured, you know what, if I got a new Ducks beanie, some sideline gear that the players are actually wearing this year, I need to get something that they're going to be wearing, obviously on the sidelines and, the player collection gear. And I haven't got a new Bucks hat. I usually wear beanies or I have the little hard hat and whatnot. But it just came in a few days ago and I figured I'd rep it today. Here we go. Baker, hand off up the middle. Here we go. Ooh, big tackle there by the Texans. And Petre, wow, big hit, laying the wood. 3rd down and 2 at the Tampa 31. But I appreciate that. I'm excited about it. Fits really well. Except the crazy thing is hats are costing so much nowadays. You end up going on NFL Shop or MLB, NBA, NHL. Hats used to be $20, regardless if it's pro back or snapback. Now some hats are like $50 to $65. Like what is the world coming to? Crazy. 3rd down and 2. Shotgun set. Baker. Egbuka is there. There you go. 1st down, Bucks. Emeka Egbuka has a very good chance of winning Rookie of the Year. 2 tutties in game number 1 against the Falcons. And again, he's going to be one of the top dogs in 2025. Yeah, the new ones that they're wearing on the sideline with the patch in the front are probably some of the ugliest hats I've ever seen. Even if they would have sent me one for free, I wouldn't even wear it. It's ugly. I don't know who came up with the design, so I decided to go with something that I thought looked a little bit better, big logo. And normally I would go with maybe a white hat or a red, but I had to go with the black with the big logo in front with the white. And Bucky Irving with a gain up the middle. I mean, if they were wearing these on the sideline for all the teams, I think it would be much of a fresher look for the coaches and the coordinators. Black hat, or and again, it doesn't have to be black, but big logo in front, not some just dinky patch that you have to squint to see what the hell it is. And the way that the patch is in front of the hat, it makes the hat look cheap. And again, not every gear that they come out with is ideal. That's facts. 2nd down and 5. Less than a minute to go in the 1st quarter. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins with a big bomb. Baker to Ryan Williams and a batted down pass that goes back into Baker's hands. Looking like Marcus Mariota right there, getting the ball back into his hands after a deflection, but he didn't get a chance to run afterwards. Flag on the play. Hopefully that's on the defense. Yeah, first time I got a black Buccaneer hat, but I went through like all the hats on NFL Shop, and there we go. 1st down, Buccaneers. Illegal use of hands, and we'll take that. Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU. We'll take it. But again, I'm pretty particular, with the hats, that I wear, through the streets and in my personal life. I'm a fashion kind of guy, so I'm really picky. It really does take me a long time, and you can go through 50 or 100 hats, and you might not even find one that you really, really like. But I had to kind of go through, and I think I found 2 that I would consider buying out of maybe like 60, 70. So 1st down and 10 after the illegal use of hands. Baker Mayfield, shotgun set. Bucky Irving there in the flat. Get it to him. There you go. Bucky from the Ducks, and a good gang tackle there by the Texans. And that's going to be the end of the 1st quarter, and a great 1st quarter here. 10-7 Houston, and the Buccaneers are rolling. 2nd down and 3 at the Houston 49. So again, we're halfway there, and we should be able to get a field goal minimum, but hopefully we end up getting a tutty to take the lead. And again, I feel once we get Tristan Wirfs back, Jalen McMillan, and Chris Godwin, like I even feel like right now we got a top 5, top 10 offense. But once you get McMillan, Godwin, and Wirfs on top of Egbuka, Evans, Rashad White, Bucky Irving, and Baker Mayfield, and we end up being 100% healthy, you could argue the offense might be like top 3. It's definitely going to be in the top 5, but maybe up a couple notches. And again, to be able to win without one of the best offensive linemen in the game works, it's a challenge. And we have a lot of guys in there that we've drafted over the years that, we trust more than the guys that we do on the defensive side of the ball, except for Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield Jr., Lavonte David. We love those 3. But as far as everyone else, it's kind of a crapshoot. Most of the time, we'll believe in guys like Zion McCollum and a few others, and then we picked up Reddick in the offseason, but obviously Reddick already has a bonehead, holding penalty on Nico Collins. So, again, sometimes you can't really trust those outsiders that you don't draft, but you just have to hope that they, are disciplined enough not to, shoot themselves in the foot and have self-inflicted wounds, because we need to win this game. We're trying to go 2-0. Yeah, having a lead at half would be very big for us because we're on the road. This is a must-win game for the Texans. We're kind of playing with house money. We won week 1 against the Falcons, and Koo missed that field goal, and they benched him. And again, Emeka Egbuka had the 2 touchdown receptions and the game winner. And again, we need to be able to start off as strong as we possibly can. And, right now, I mean, again, when you're looking at the league, and I know it's early, but it kind of feels like Packers, Eagles, they're the best teams in the NFC. Then I think it's kind of like Buccaneers and Rams and Lions in that next group. And then you're going to have like Commanders, but Jaden Daniels now is hurt. And then you got other teams that are on the bubble like the Falcons. And then we'll see, what happens in the NFC West if there's another team that we can talk about. And then you got the Bills at the top with the Ravens, right? And then, we'll see the Colts are overachieving early with Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes playing great. Chargers might be the front-running team in the AFC West. So we'll kind of, monitor as the season goes on. And it's too early to really predict, everything. But you kind of have an idea on who the good teams are going to be and who the shitty teams are. And there's quite a few shitty teams that have already been exposed in the NFL within the first 2 weeks. So. Oh, fuck, another injury? Holy hell, no. 2 starting tackles are out. That's going to be tough. 2nd down and 3. Man in motion, shotgun set. We don't got Ted Johnson either. Handoff up the middle, Bucky. And again, if we got to run through the guards and do more halfback dives and counters, we might have to do that. We like to bounce to the outside with tosses and sweeps, but if both of our tackles are injured, right? Again, Wirfs is out. Gadecki just went down with an injury. So now we're going to have to probably go up the middle, and a majority of the running game will more than likely will be there. And obviously having a new offensive coordinator this year as well, not ideal, but we're going to do the best that we can with, obviously that new philosophy. 2nd down and 6. After that catch by Bucky Irving there, hit him with the shimmy and the shake. Tuh-oh. All right, come on, Baker. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. And so for some of the regulars that are in the room, if you can help me out with that responsibility, that would be great. If we're not going to have all day or captain in here helping me out. It's a team effort for us to hit those numbers. 2nd down and 6, man in motion. Baker up the middle. And close to the marker there by Bucky Irving, marking at 3rd and 1 with a 5-yard gain, but that is very close. Yeah, very tough game. We know the Texans look shitty against the Rams in week 1, but again, they are playing desperate, just like the Seahawks played desperate against the Steelers on the road. And anytime you're 0-1 and you have a fear of going 0-2, if you go 0-2 to start the season, realistically, you're not making the playoffs most of the time. I mean, the percentages, if you go in the last 40 years, if you go 0-2, it's not a good look. And again, Texans are going to play very desperate. 3rd and 1. Pound it up the middle. Baker, screen pass, pump fake, run it. Go, Baker, go. And diving for the 1st down. There we go. 1st down, Bucks. Yeah, I mean, again, he's got the 2nd most touchdowns since 2023, which is shocking to a lot of people, but not us Buck fans. Again, when you have Godwin and Evans, with Brady and now with Baker, those are 2 of the top, 20 guys, at wide receiver. Godwin usually a top 20 guy, used to be a top 15 guy, sometimes even a top 10 guy. And Evans is usually in the top 10. And now adding Emeka Egbuka, and even though McMillan got hurt, we're setting ourselves up for the future. Shotgun set, Baker, fake toss, screen pass. And not a whole lot there for Emeka Egbuka, good tackle. And we got a flag on the play. Danielle Hunter with the tackle, the former Viking. Yeah, I'll be as specific as possible on every single play, just like when I do Mariner streams or Duck streams. I try to give every, what the pitch is, the miles per hour, the location. I'm going to let you guys know. And that's an eligible downfield. And it's 1st down and 15. And that's on the Bucks there on Cody Mack. Cody is a beast. And we a lot of the offensive linemen that the Bucks get, are very feisty, and again, having Gadecki go down is not ideal, but we'll see what we get here moving forward. We can't have any self-inflicted wounds here with ineligible downfield pass, which is a bunch of bootios, but fuck it. We got to make up for it. But Baker is a top 10 quarterback, but he plays like a top 5. And yeah, there's guys that are going to be more popular than him, but we're very confident in Baker's abilities, and he's really turned himself around after getting married and having a kid. He's not that same QB. And Evans pass incomplete, but flag on the play. And that's going to be on Bullock. Or is it going to be on Anderson? Defensive offsides? Yes, there we go. Will Anderson Jr. offsides. We'll take that. First down, Bucks. But again, Baker fits the personality of the Buccaneers. Fiery, confident, has the swag and the aura, but also is calm, cool, and collected in the 2-minute drill. And we know that when we're down, we feel confident, like we did with Brady when he came in, that we can win games late even when we get down. And again, you just got to find guys that have the right type of personality to match your team. And the Bucs are always going to be that physical type of team. And again, you have a lot of passion, and we need guys like that. Handoff up the middle, White, and a short gain there. 6-yard run. Second down and 4 at the Houston 23. And 11:50 and counting here in the second quarter. And again, you're going to get guys that, Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen Hurts. You're going to get guys that are, bigger names, more popular, deservedly so. But again, Baker is the perfect fit for what we do here for Tampa Bay. And he's like one of those, guys that was a former first pick, that actually panned out, not like guys like Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston, for different reasons. Emeka Egbuka on the outside. Come on, Emeka. First down, Bucks. And again, when Mike Evans retires, Egbuka will be the 1. And then when Godwin leaves, Jalen McMillan will be the 2. But we want to make sure that we can have all 4 of them together, for at least a season. There is a rumor that Evans is going to retire this year or next year, but he wants to be able to break the record, 1,000 yards every single year since he came into the league, and that would pass Jerry Rice. And again, anytime you can beat Jerry Rice in anything, you know that you are a first ballot Hall of Famer. First down and 10. Shotgun set, looking at Evans, and pass incomplete. Stingley over the top. A good defense there. Second down and 10 at the Houston 19. No, we need the Astros to lose. The Astros and Rangers are playing each other. So if we had to choose one or the other, we need the Astros to lose so we can keep our lead in the AL West. Second down and 10. Handoff. Bucky Irving bouncing it to the outside, running into his own man, and then hitting a hole there shortly. About 4-yard gain there. Third down and 6 at the Houston 15. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that we could come up with, with the coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I like the roster that we have. And, we're one of the only 2 teams in the NFL that's gone to 2 Super Bowls and won both, us and the Ravens. So I feel going from the Derek Brooks era to the Tom Brady era, now to the Baker Mayfield era, there's a realistic chance that we could make an NFC championship game this year, next year, or the following year. And Emeka Egbuka, go, 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 touchdown, Buccaneers, let's go. Hell yeah. And that's the 3rd touchdown for Emeka Egbuka, and book it, Rookie of the Year. Let's go. No Tristan Wirfs, no Gadecki, no fucking problem. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. It's like we almost have 2 Mike Evans now. Emeka Egbuka is so smart, so physical, and again, great hands, great route runner. Extra point is up and good. 14-10 Buccaneers on the road. Big. And again, with all the injuries that we have, it shows you how good this team really is. And again, I really honestly feel we're right there with the Eagles and Packers this year. I feel like, the Lions and the Rams are like kind of close, but I feel that, we'll see how it all plays out. but I definitely feel the Bucs are a top 3 team in the NFC. And even with injuries, I mean, we're playing like we don't have anybody injured. And that's the most impressive thing about the Bucs in 2025. And then once we get full strength, then if we end up playing teams like the Packers or the Eagles in the playoffs, it may not be, the Eagles are automatically going to win, or, the Packers are going to beat y'all. Like, we actually are going to have a chance against those teams. Same thing with Detroit or the Rams or whoever we match up with. So very exciting to be able to see the backup step up. But again, with the people that we have now, they were talking and did an interview with Baker and Mike Evans, as well as the coaching staff. And they said they have never seen a wide receiver that knows every single route besides his own, than Emeka. They all said that, he's playing like he's a 5-year vet, and they haven't been able to say that out of anybody that has come in. And that's a high praise for a guy like Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans to say something like that. And he's already got 3 tutties. We're only in week 2. How many will he end with? It's kind of looking like maybe in that 10 to 15 range. And that might mean that Mike Evans gets a little bit less. Godwin maybe gets a little bit less when he comes back from the injuries. But again, you want to make sure you're feeding your dogs early and often. And again, they are kind of grooming Emeka to be the one, especially when Mike is gone. But right now we have 2 ones. We got Mike Evans on one side, you got Emeka on the other. So if you want to double Mike, go right ahead. We're going to get touchdowns with Emeka Egbuka. And again, Ohio State has been known for wide receivers for years and years and years. So we might have gotten the best one in years and years and years lately. Great chemistry. Baker to Emeka, 14-10 Buccaneers. Let's go. Yeah, we should have beat the Commanders last year, but again, you got to give Jaden Daniels credit. We barely lost by 3. So again, we're definitely in the right direction. We just need to keep beefing up the defense, pray for less injuries, beef up the O-line even more. And we got great skill position players, and we're just as good with the skill position players than anybody in football. At quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. We're on the top tier. Yeah, Bucky has a chance to get a touchdown. It may not be this half. You might have to wait till the second half. Once it goes toward the goal line, it'll either be him or White, but typically it's Bucky lately because he's the one now. Rashad White was the starter before, but he wasn't good enough to be the starter. Bucky Irving gives us a little bit more flash and sees the hole a little bit better as well. So 14-10 Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, Rookie of the Year. Appreciate that, Chris. Noel with the return. Hit him. Good tackle there. Now we need to get a big fumble or pick. Let's go. Appreciate that. Now, where are we sitting at on the likes? We're at 37 with 124 in the room for the people that are regulars. Help your boy out. We're at 37. Let's see if we can get to 50 or 60 before halftime. 37 on the likes. We need to get to 100. Let's go. And we're still looking for our first dono on the dono train. First down and 10. Handoff. Nice tackle there. There's a flag on the play. I wouldn't want to trade for someone. We already have a great reputation of drafting. Illegal shift by the Texans there. Second down and 12 at the Houston 20. We have the best percentage of starters in the league. It's like 82% of guys that we draft. Really the only fuck up that we've had based off, personality was probably Devin White. But if we didn't get Devin White when we did, we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. Or even got there. So I think drafting a linebacker to take over Levante David and just hoping that we don't get a guy that is a me guy rather than a team guy like Devin White will be just fine. Second down and 12, plenty of time for CJ Stroud, floater, and finds a man. First down, Texans. Hutchinson with that grab right there for 20 yards. First down and 10 at the Houston 40. Again, and when you can draft guys and they end up sticking, we're the best in the NFL. There's a few teams that are close to us that are in like the 70% range, but no one is on the Buck level. And again, it shows. We have more starters based on the guys that we've drafted the last few years than any team in football. And again, if you can draft well, that tells you that you have a great GM And obviously, Bowles is a guy that we could find someone that could be better one day, but obviously our GM is top tier. Max. We all love Jason. First down and 10. Play action fake. Blitz. Get his ass. And Stroud, floater, and incomplete. And Dalton Schultz falls down. Second down and 10 at the Houston 40. Let's see. Stroud has 2 yards rushing. 7 for 10, 127 with a touchdown and no pick. Stroud, screen pass. And Nick Chubb is there. It's so weird to say Nick Chubb on the Texans, but I guess that's the reality that we're living in right now. Third down and 9 at the Houston 41. And let's force a punt, huh? And let's get another touchdown, and let's go up 21-10. Fucking no mercy. I mean, I get it. They want to get their first win, but, for us Buck fans, we want to prove that we're on the Packer-Eagle level, and we're right there, and obviously the Lions got beat by the Packers week 1, and they beat the shit out of the Bears, handily in week 2, and, we want to just make sure that we're known as one of the top 3 teams in the NFL, in the NFC. Stroud, little check down, and complete. Good D by the Bucks. There we go. Fourth down and 8, punt incoming, and here's another score about to happen. No, I think that if you have seen interviews, I watch all the blogs and the vlogs. I follow, pretty much everything that has to do with Buccaneers as well as all my other teams. The organization is in love with Baker. Now, again, if this is the Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma and from Cleveland, where he's immature, he's not married, he doesn't have a kid, then obviously you could let a guy walk if he's talented, but he's a distraction. But this Baker Mayfield, has swagger. He's got confidence, but he's also matured. And again, this is a guy that we should have in a Buccaneer uniform until he's retired. He's that good. You're not going to find anybody better that's going to fit the system than Baker Mayfield. And, again, he's got the second most touchdown passes out of any quarterback since 2023. Who are we going to – it's not like we're going to get Josh Allen. We're not going to get Lamar. We're not getting Jalen Hurts. So what we have right now is a top 10 quarterback who plays like a top 5 quarterback, who's very undervalued. But us Buck fans and NFL diehards, they know how good Baker truly is. 14-10 Buccaneers. I mean, the weak spot on the Bucs is always going to be our D. And normally when we're really, really good, that's the strong suit. The Tom Brady era, the defense. The Derek Brooks era, the defense. And we love Levante. We love Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in football, always punching footballs out and making big plays on the goal line, better than any other safety in recent memory. And then we love Vita Vea from the Huskies up front, kind of like a Warren Sapp clone, but it's all of the others that, we want Cansey to be good. We want Zion McCollum to be good. But again, we can't really fully trust the other guys just yet. And then obviously we brought in guys like Hassan Reddick, and we hope that they're going to play well. But again, we're not holding our breath, assuming that they're going to be great. We just have to hope that they don't get injured and they play up to their standards. So. Yeah, Monty Kiffin. Absolutely. I mean, back when it was like Dick LeBeau, and Jim Johnson, and then obviously with Monty Kiffin. And, we've had the Tony Dungy era, and then the John Gruden era, and then the Bruce Arians era. And again, I feel like with Todd Bowles, the stronger piece is our GM with Jason, right? And obviously Bowles, we could get a better head coach. We could get better coordinators. Those things could be improved, but we appreciate what we have right now. And, at some point, I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin and he still wants to coach. He could come back to Tampa if we fire Bowles. Tomlin has history with our team, being a coach in the past. And that could be someone that could motivate us to maybe, go a little bit further than Bowles. But for the time being, we like what we have. So. First down and 10, 14-10 Buccaneers. But, and obviously, are their coaches better than Mike Tomlin? Yeah, but again, you have to look at who's been a coach with us in the past, who loves Tampa, and again, Steelers don't really fire coaches. They've had only like 3, over the last 50 years, but that could be a possibility, down the road. Handoff up the middle. And obviously, we know how good the Steeler teams under him have been, pretty much having an above 500 record almost every year he's been there. But when you go from, Noel and, Cower and then him, it's like, it's not like they go through coaches like these other shitty teams. 6:51 and counting, second down and 3 at the Tampa 23. Man in motion, Shepard, handoff, White, right up the middle, and using that body of his. First down, Buccaneers, move the chains. Let's go. And again, this is a much better looking Buccaneer team in week 1. Again, we're kind of, a little lost at times against the Falcons, but the Falcons have a good defense this year, much improved, right? And again, it was a battle. They beat us twice last year. We needed to get payback. Now, we won the division 4 years in a row, and we're trying to do it 5 years in a row, which I believe we will. But again, getting off to a fast start was key here on the road against Houston. And that's a false start on Tampa. Come on. Is your first name really Orion? I don't think I've ever met another Orion. Spelled the same way as well. Except you're a Texan fan and I'm a Buck fan. It's tough to say. Emeka Egbuka lately in the first 2 weeks of the season is the one. So with Mike Evans, he's always, prone for like the big play, to get in the end zone or to make that big 20, 30, 40, 50-yard catch. But right now, the offense goes through Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. And then obviously they're going to be looking at spreading the football pretty evenly. And we don't have Tez Johnson or Jalen McMillan or Chris Godwin. So again, it's hard to say. He might get 50 yards. He might get 100. Little screen pass, Rachaad White. Little shake and bake, but a nice gang tackle by 5 Texans. Dogpiling on top of them. Second down and 16. Loss of a yard there with Baker to Rachaad White. Rankins in the mix. But defense wins games, defense wins championships. And, we love what we got on the offensive side. But if the Bucs want to make the NFC championship game or go further, the defense needs to be better. But as far as the offense is concerned, we're going to be as good as anybody in the league. Second down and long. Second down and 16 on the Tampa 20. Let's go. Shotgun set, Baker. Good protection up front. Collapsing, flag on the play. And let's see what they have here. Might be a hold on the O-line. They held up shortly. I think might be a hold on or an illegal use of hands. And we get bailed out by a big call. Illegal use of hands more than once in this game. Houston. And again, it looked like it potentially could have been a hold on the line. They protected for a few seconds and then collapsed. And it looked like Baker was going to take a sack lunch. But Dylan Horton, illegal use of hands, the guilty culprit. And we'll take that. And that's on Graham Barton. All right, good job there. We'll take that. Good call. I mean, you can't do that. That's definitely an illegal use of hands, 100%. That's not a makeup call or a bullshit call. That is the correct call. First down and 10. Man in motion, Baker. Hands off up the middle. And Rachaad White with a short gain of 2. Second down and 8 at the Tampa 27. Ooh, Petrie is injured with the ribs. That's huge. We're going to take advantage of that in the second half. Shotgun set. Pressure coming. Uh-oh. Big. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch. There by Danielle Hunter, the former Viking, on Baker Mayfield. Now it's 3rd and 16 on the Tampa 19. We're going in the wrong direction. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's go, baby. Third down and 16, little screen pass. And Emeka Egbuka gets the most that he can get in that situation. 7-yard gain, 4th down and 9, and Tampa is forced to punt. My pup is in here now. And we got to make sure we get Mike Evans involved. We don't want him to get frustrated where it's going to be going to everyone but him. Even if he ends up getting double covered. He ended up having that push off early, but we're gonna try to get him in the end zone in the second half for sure. And then a decent run after that return there. First down and 10 at the Houston 30. Noel pushed out by Ryan Miller. All right, where are we sitting at on the likes right now? We got 122 in the room. We should be at least at 50 by now. And again, if I can get some people in the room that are regulars like Cody and a few others to help until we get some of our regular mods in the room, it will really help us. Looks like we're at 42. If we can get 8 more by halftime, that would be great. We're at 42. The goal is 100. So far, so good. I mean, there's been a few, issues with the team. Obviously, getting burnt, with that touchdown. Obviously, with Nico Collins early was not ideal, but then we fired right back with Ryan Miller and got in the end zone with Baker. Then they ended up kicking the field goal with Kaimi Fairbairn, and then we responded again with Emeka Egbuka, the Rookie of the Year, right? And we got the 14-10 lead, and hopefully we can hold them to nothing, and at the very least, a field goal. Hopefully we'll still have the lead, going in, and we're not down 17-14. So, and then we get the ball at half, and hopefully we score at first drive, to Mike Evans or Bucky Irving, right out of the third quarter, and then we can set the tone. So. And we've gained 10 subs, so we're going that direction on a good foot. 36 subs to go to 21,900, 136 to get to 22,000. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Yeah, and that's the thing, once they start, trying to double cover Emeka, and they're like, okay, this guy is the real deal. He's going to get Rookie of the Year. He is, another one like Mike Evans. And then that's exactly when we go to Mike Evans for the big play. And again, he doesn't usually push off. That is a rare thing that happens like, maybe 3-4 times in a season. And it was the correct call. And again, if there's going to be a 50-50 ball later in the game, he won't have to do that. And, hopefully we won't even have to go into that situation. He'll be able to catch it in space and then run it in for a tutty. So, all right, defense, let's see if we can step up here. First down and 10. Handoff up the middle. Hit him. And a good gain by Marks there on first down. 7-yard gain, second down and 3 at the Houston 37. And again, normally in previous Tampa teams in the past, this would be the time where we get the fumble, we get the pick, we make that big play to kind of impose our will. But since the defense is a little banged up and we're not as strong, obviously now we can't see with a fucking pack. Holy hell, that's not good. The injuries keep piling up for Tampa, but we still find ways to get points on the board. Can't wait until we're healthy. And it looks like we'll probably have to wait until like week 4, week 5, until most of the other guys come back that we're desperately going to need. All right, 2-minute warning, but with all the injuries, right, we're still up by 4, and we're on the road. So, I mean, you can't complain about that. Baker Mayfield looking good, Emeka Egbuka looking good, running game looking good with Bucky and Rachaad White, and we just need the defense to do their job. 14-10 with the 2-minute warning. Hitting good views already. We're already at 6,500 views. We should be able to hit 10 to 12,000 on the stream here today. Let's go. And then we're going to be doing Mariners and Royals on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Mariners versus Astros. And obviously they have WrestlePalooza, the first ESPN WWE PLE on Saturday. Ducks and Beavers on Saturday. Huskies, obviously, going against the Cougs on Saturday. And then obviously a lot of other good matchups on Sunday as well. So again, we're going to be grinding pretty much every day. And we're going to be doing 1 stream a day until we get to the weekend. And once we get to the weekend, we usually will do 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. As long as I have a voice and I can keep grinding. 14-10 Buccaneers. Let's go, baby. Got to do it just like Mike, baby. A true 1 of 1, Mike Allstott. Never going to see another Mike Allstott ever again, and the fullback position is pretty much obsolete now. You know, there's only a few teams that even run a fullback in 2025. And I'm looking forward to game number 2 with the Chargers and Justin Herbert, go Ducks, versus the Raiders. Pete Carroll's birthday today, Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. And injuries are piling up. Joe Burrow out 3 months, Bengals season's over. Jaden Daniels injured, not good look for them in his sophomore season. But then other teams, we'll see what they can do. Let them know, Reflect. And hopefully we can get a big play here. Let's try to hold them to, 3 or nothing. Preferably nothing. Come on, Tampa. Shotgun set. 2nd down and 3. 3 wide receiver set. Shift. Stroud. Tucks it. And runs. Oh, that's a 1st down. And get him. Big yardage by C.J. Stroud. 1st down. Texans. Move the chains. 1st down and 10 at the Tampa 44. Clock is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Come on, defense, settle in here. Burrow, Daniels, Fields, Purdy, McCarthy. A lot of injuries early on. Notable quarterback injuries. Somebody will be hitting up the Giants for Jameis Winston sooner than later. Shotgun set. Trips right. Throw to the right-hand side. Schultz is there with the check down. Tackle him. There we go. Nice gang tackle. Gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 at the Tampa 40. Nice. I don't share any birthdays with any of the Buck players to my knowledge, but I do got the same birthday as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Pat McAfee. 2nd down and 6. Brahma Bulls, baby. Get his ass. Yeah. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? It's time for a Buccaneers sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Let's go. Big sack lunch. That's exactly what we fucking needed right there. Huge. Wow. Let's go, baby. Red Gaines, baby. 3rd down and 14. And hopefully we can stop them here and have one more crack at maybe a long field goal before we go into half. And I believe Tampa will get the ball and hopefully we'll score right out of the 3rd quarter. And hopefully we'll be up 24 4-10 at that point. But if we can get a cheap field goal here late, it would be great. Yes. We definitely, especially with Cansey, with the injury, with the pec, and, the defense hasn't really, been great, the first 2 weeks. They kind of play in spurts. It definitely isn't the same defense that was playing with Tom Brady, and definitely not the same defense with Monty Kiffin, with Stapp and Brooks and Lynch and Barber and Simeon Rice. Get his ass! Get him! And he avoids the sack lunch twice and throws it downfield, incomplete. Nico Collins, intended receiver, and the Bucs play great defense there on 3rd down and 2nd down, and now it's 4th and 14 on the Tampa 48. We're going to get the ball, and we're going to have a good chance for a long field goal, or preferably another Emeka Egbuka touchdown, or maybe Mike Evans. Let's go. No way. You got your photo with Greg? You never mentioned that. You've been holding out on me. Gained another sub, 35 to go. 11 subs gained so far. And again, this is not something new to me. I've been a Tampa fan for 30 years. And that goes in for a touchback. Okay, baby, let's see if we can get a long field goal by McLaughlin here, unless we go one-on-one with Mike Evans deep. And again, we need to make sure Mike feels involved. And again, Emeka, already 3 touchdowns in the early part of the season. He is going to get Rookie of the Year more than likely on the offense. But we want to make sure our guy doesn't feel like he's being left out of the action. And we know that they're going to double him a lot. And I know he's going to get 1,000 yards and beat Jerry Rice's record. But we want to make sure that, we give him opportunities to succeed. But again, we don't want to force it to Mike Evans, right? And that's the thing Baker is good at. He's going to go to other options instead of going to a double-covered Mike Evans, even though he desperately wants to get Mike the ball. First down and 10, shotgun set, throw to the sideline. And there's Mike Evans, just as we were speaking about him. And that's a 9-yard gain, and let's call a timeout, and they do. Really? And we're at 7,000 views already. We should be able to hit 10 to 14,000 on this stream. All right, come on, Baker. 25 seconds left. Let's see if we can go deep and hit Egbuka or Evans or Shepard or Ryan Miller and get into field goal range. Best case scenario is getting a long tutty here, but we only got 25 seconds. 2nd down and 1. Shotgun set. Baker, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Don't take the sack. There you go. Good decision. And that's incomplete. Intended tight end in the area was Kate Otten. And now we have to just make sure we get the first down, and we got to be smart here. If Evans didn't get called for that push-off early, they might have gone to him back-to-back plays, and he might have scored. But, you're going to have to probably wait till the second half for a potential Evans touchdown. But so far this year, Egbuka is the 1. Evans is the 2. 3rd down and 1. Shotgun set. Baker, get rid of it. And that's over Evans' head, incomplete. 4th down and 1 on the Tampa 29, and we're going to have to punt. Not ideally what we wanted right there. Should have went short instead of going long, but pressure was in Baker's face, and I guess it could have been worse. He could have fumbled or thrown a pick, so sometimes that's going to happen when you got pressure right in front of you. You have to just get rid of it right there. And it was in double coverage, so we don't want to throw a pick in that situation and have them score a cheap touchdown. All right. Punt is secured on 4th and 1, and now it's 1st and 10 at the 29 with 2 seconds to go. And that is halftime. Good first half for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anytime you can be ahead, on the road, and we haven't had a very stellar, record, on prime time for Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. So to be up by 4 on the road and, kind of being in firm control of this game after the C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins touchdown, it feels good. We have injuries. They're adding up. But again, if we can score right out of the half with 3 or 6, it should put us in good position to hopefully pull away at some point in the fourth quarter. Entertaining first half, much better than the Falcons and Vikings matchup yesterday. Hell yeah, good first half. All right, halftime is about 11 minutes. Luckily, it's not going to be 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll probably go over some of the highlights and whatnot, and probably preview a little bit of the Chargers and the Raiders. Pete Carroll's birthday today, so they're going to be motivated with Ashton Genty and Geno Smith, and we're going to see Justin Herbert do what he does. Omari and Hampton and Najee, and again, it'll be a pretty competitive battle. And if the Chargers end up coming out top, that might be the team to beat in the AFC West. Again, and everyone seems like they're getting a little bit better. Raiders with Geno and Pete Carroll and Genty. Obviously, Denver's looking a little sluggish to start the year. We know they have that great defense, but the offense with Bo Nix, a little slow, but again, they should pick it up as the year goes on. And then obviously the Chiefs dropping to 0-2. This could be the year that they don't go to the playoffs, or they might have to battle to get to 10-7 and go to a wild card. But it definitely feels like it's the Bills-Ravens year, and we're not going to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, which if you're not a Chief fan, you're probably excited. We're going to see something else. See finally Josh Allen in, or Lamar in, or maybe someone else, but you would have to assume the Bills and Ravens have to be the favorites, at least for today. All right, we're at 7,300 views. Where are we at on the likes? Have we hit 50 yet? If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Try to get to 50 by halftime and get the other 50 before the game ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on the dono train. Looks like we're at 52. So if you are in the room, looks like we have at least 60 people in the room that haven't hit the like button yet. If you could just take 1 second out of your day, if you're enjoying the broadcast, and that'll help us with the algorithm to help us get more people here on the stream. We've gained already 11 to 15 subs. We're getting closer to 22,000, so I appreciate that. And the last part of the goal is just to try to get on that dono goal, and eventually we'll get there. Yeah, there's a good chance. Again, especially if the pressure comes up, and then he has to, bounce outside based off pressure. There's a good chance that he has a couple runs of 5 to 7 yards, avoiding the pressure. But normally with Baker, once he starts running away, he usually keeps his eyes downfield and will do a check down for a pass rather than just run it himself. Running is like last option for him. He can do it if he's forced to, but he's always looking to, help someone get some stats and throw it downfield. He always keeps his eyes downfield. So, but 12 might be attainable, but it kind of depends on what the defense does for the Texans for him to do that. So, he's not really known as being a rushing quarterback. So, he's good at the play action and good at the bootleg, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully for you, if you have a bet on that, hopefully he hits that for you. Joe Burrow out with the turf toe. They got Browning and Rippon, and maybe they'll pick up Jameis Winston for some depth. But the Bengals season is over. Viking season started off strong, but looked terrible yesterday. Now they're going to bring in Carson Wentz. Good luck with that. It'll be Packers and Lions in that division. And Minnesota going backwards. Kevin O'Connell will probably get fired at some point. And then this one is going to hurt the NFL and the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, knee sprain. And again, a lot of times after you end up having a great rookie season, you have a sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud did. So hopefully, Jaden Daniels can bounce back after the injury. But, we'll see. The Commanders may not make the playoffs this year if Daniels keeps getting hurt. Yeah, I hate injuries, man. Injuries are part of the game. We understand that, but nothing is more derailing, than having your starting quarterback go down early within the first 2 weeks. And there's a guy that's got an endless motor that I would love to have on Tampa Bay, Max Crosby. This guy can talk shit with the best of them, but he's a really hard worker. The motor never quits, and to me, he's one of the most underrated, defensive players overall. And again, 60.5 sacks since 2019. That guy would be a perfect fit for the Tampa Bay defense on the edge. Love him. Well, considering that the Niners are banged up, even though they have a good record, Cardinals, no one has a lot of faith in them. Like, who would have thought that all the teams would be 2-0 and the Hawks would be 1-1? But at some point, these other teams are going to hit a wall. But if you look at the supporting cast and the coaching, it looks like the Rams, should be able to win. And as long as Stafford can walk, they should be able to win the division. There's too many holes, on the Niners and the Cardinals. They're obviously starting off well, but let's see how the season goes. And then, with the Seahawks, we'll kind of a wait and see approach. But to me, going into the season, it kind of felt like it was going to be the Rams, it was going to be the Bucks, it was going to be the Eagles, and then Packers or Lions. And obviously the Packers surprised in week 1, played very, very well. And, Lions got the L, and then the Lions took it out on the Bears, little brother, in week 2. And those are probably going to be the best teams, including the Falcons. They look pretty good as well. So I think Falcons look better than anybody in the NFC West, but, besides maybe the Rams. And, who knows? They might even have a better record than the Rams. We'll have to kind of wait and see. So. Oh, name 2 quarterbacks played for the Bucs and the Niners. Steve Young, Jeff Garcia. I've been watching sports since 1985, so I may look young, but I'm 43, so I've been watching since I was like 3. So I'm 40 years in. All I do is read and watch film. Halftime, 14-10, Buccaneers. And there was no Google search for that. Most of it's just going to be off the top. All right, we got 4 minutes to go. I got jerseys in the closet that some people would be embarrassed about. I still got a Josh Freeman jersey in my closet that I could have fucking gave away to Goodwill, but I hung on to it, for the memory. And he was decent, in that 1 year until, kind of things fell off the wagon and whatnot. But I got a nice collection in there. I got Simeon Rice, I got Warren Sapp, I got Josh Freeman, I got Muscle Hamster, Doug Martin. I usually like defensive jerseys only, though. Keyshawn, Derek Brooks, Devin White, Levante David. I got quite a few there that are in the closet, but Derek Brooks obviously is my number one. Obviously on the defensive side, offense is Mike Allstott, and then obviously in the current game right now, we love what we're getting out of Ekbuka, but Mike Evans, is obviously fantastic. And I don't know. I'm just not a bandwagon guy. I never bought a Brady or a Gronk a jersey. Like, I appreciated that they came, and it was almost like a pinch me moment to get Antonio Brown and Gronk and Tom Brady with Bruce Arians. But I don't have any jerseys. I do have a collectible Brady T-shirt that was gifted to me that's still in the plastic. But it's probably not going to be worn. I'm just going to keep it as like a namesake, kind of just like a souvenir. But one of the rare items that I do own is I actually have the 2002 World Champion shirt that the Super Bowl champions wore against the Raiders in Super Bowl 37 in my closet with the tags on it and with the hologram still on it. And there is almost nobody that has that. Like, some people have the shirt, that they've worn that's in like the drawer, but mine's like literally mint condition in a plastic bag from back then, because I wanted to make sure that was kept, down the road for memories. Because, back when I was in my early 20s, I thought, shit, maybe this is the only Super Bowl we're going to win. And then when we got Brady, it was like a reality where Gronk and Brady are here. Like, we could win it. Like, our defense is good. Evans and Godwin, like, we could actually do it. And, if Antonio Brown didn't have a fucking CTE meltdown and walk off the field against the Jets, fuck, we could have maybe won 2, but we have to be happy that we won 1 out of the 3 years with Brady. I mean, that was the goal, to win at least 1 or 2. And, we got the job done. And now we have Baker at the helm. And, we feel confident that we can make a deep run with him as well. So, yeah, Emeka Egbuka scored a touchdown already. 3 touchdowns on the season, rookie of the year. I'll give you a quick breakdown of the game. So the game started off with C.J. Stroud looking great. Big, deep pass down the sideline to Nico Collins, 7-0. Texans, and it was reviewed, and he barely got in. Right then, Baker Mayfield decided to go right back and run it down. Ryan Miller, 20-yard touchdown catch, 7-7. Jaime Fairbairn with the field goal. Then it ended up being 10-7 Texans. And then after that, Emeka Egbuka with a 15-yard pass from Baker. And then 14-10, we're sitting at half. So right now we're sitting at 3 tutties for Emeka Egbuka, and he's got to be the front runner of the rookie of the year. And, when you get 2 tutties as a rookie and the game winner, you already know that he's going to be in the rookie of the year, like, finals. And obviously getting another score today, like, he definitely is the front runner for offensive rookie of the year. And I feel that he is going to win it. Now, I know it's only week 2, but the thing is, he's not going to be done anytime soon. I mean, the only thing that's going to end up shutting him down is an injury, and hopefully we don't have that. But there's a good chance that Emeka will end up getting 10 to 14 touchdowns. And for a rookie, we're going to be talking to some rare air if that ends up happening. So, and again, they're definitely grooming him to be the wide receiver 1, especially since Evans is going to be gone either this year or next year, just depending on personal preference, and also probably depending on how far we go. So, yeah, I'm more of a, honestly, like, I wasn't even really a Tom guy. I was more of a Joe Montana, Peyton Manning guy, from back in the day, obviously with Brady and the Patriots and the cheating with Belichick. But again, when you end up getting greatness and they're helping your organization win, you're not going to reject them. You're going to accept, that they're going to change the culture. And he did. He made everyone accountable, and made everyone play better to a higher standard where it was Super Bowl or bust, not like, oh, I hope we make the playoffs. And we have to really appreciate Tom for bringing that mentality, and it's carried over with the Baker Mayfield era as well. But I'm always going to be a Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, Simeon Rice, Mike Allstott kind of guy. That's always going to be who I am. But I definitely appreciated that second Super Bowl victory over the Chiefs. And again, you got to think, we're the only team to hold Mahomes and no touchdown passes in a Super Bowl. And that was when he was in his prime, not like what we're seeing out of Mahomes now. So again, defense wins games, defense wins championships. Fire the cannon. We are the crew. Go Bucks. But Emeka Egbuka, rookie of the year, and we're only in week 2. Book it. I mean, shit, we were saying that already in week 1 when a rookie has 2 tutties. We haven't seen a rookie wide receiver look like this in a long time. I mean, think about all the amazing wide receivers that we've had, come through with like Megatron and Randy Moss and everything. And Ohio State is known for wide receivers, but it looks like we got maybe the best one they've ever had. All right, baby, we're about to get into the third quarter, and hopefully we'll be able to score here early. Let's go. All right, hopefully we're still ahead at that point. Let's go, baby. Tucker on the return. And a decent return there for 26 yards. First down and 10 at the 28. Let's go. Let's go, Bucs. First down and 10. Baker under center, man in motion. Hand off to Bucky Irving, hits the hole. There we go, breaks a tackle. And that's a nice 7-yard gain. Second down and 3 at the Tampa 35. Good start there. Nice job by Bucky. And Bucky is such a upgrade to Rachaad White. You know, there was a reason why the running game was a little stagnant. You know, we needed someone that had a better vision. And obviously, I'm a Duck fan as well. So obviously, I've already seen Bucky and what he can do on that college level. And then obviously getting a player like that to be on my favorite NFL team, it was a dream come true. A lot of Huskies and a lot of Ducks, you know, obviously on this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Tez Johnson, Bucky Irving from the Ducks, Jalen McMillan, Vita Vea from the Huskies. Short gain there for Bucky Irving. 2-yard gain, third down and 1. Five wide. We're getting a first down here. Third down and 1. And they move Bucky and shift him back next to Baker. Trips left. 4 wide receiver set. Shotgun set. Baker wide open. First down, Buccaneers. Sterling Shepard, move the chains. Here we go. I like that. All right. Gunn says we're at 58. We need 42 more. If you can give us updates and keep encouraging the people in the room, that would be greatly appreciated. 42 more to go to hit the goal. Baker again. Shepard again. And there we go. 6-yard gain. Third down and 4 at the Tampa 48. And I like the gunslinger Baker Mayfield doing what he does. And again, so many weapons. You know, you don't expect Shepard or Ryan Miller to do fucking anything, right? But again, it's like we have so many guys that Baker has confidence in. Hand off to Bucky, and he gets drilled. Nice tackle there. Loss of a yard. Third down and 4. Petrie is back in the game even though he's injured. Got to keep an eye on him. And now it's third down and 4 at the Tampa 48. We need to move the chains. Come on, Tampa. This would be a good opportunity to go to Mike Evans. Get him involved. Emeka or Mike? Man in motion, shotgun set. Uh-oh, pressure up the middle, and he goes down. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big, big sack. Rankins and company. And Sheldon Rankins, again, coming up in the biggest moment, and that's not exactly ideal for us Buck fans, and we're going to have to punt. 57 yards, and that's a touchback. First down and 10 on the Houston 20. Offensive line needs to be better, but remember, we got our 2 starting tackles out. So, again, if they have any delayed blitzes or if they come off the edge, it's not like we have Gadecki or Wirfs out there. You know, we're playing with some backups. So, again, it's not like, you know, the offensive line stinks. You know, we have a few backups in there, and you got to give the Texans credit. And hopefully we're going to be able to get a few sack lunches, and, you know, we can prevent them from scoring as well. 14-10 Tampa. Nice sack there by Rankin. $11:23 left in the third. 14-10 Tampa. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes. 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. We were at 11. Let's see where we're at now. Where are we sitting on the sub count? We had 35 to go. And we'll see where we're at now. Gained a few more. Now 33 to go. $33 to go to 21,900. Let's go, baby. And I do a little bit of everything. You know, I'll do NFL, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. You know, we do Mariners and Ducks. And then I also will do, once the NFL season's over, we'll do a little bit of NBA, a little bit of NHL, a little bit of NASCAR, a little bit of WWE once a month with the PLEs, pay-per-views. And, there really isn't anything that we don't really do here on the channel if you're new to the channel and haven't been here before. So if you look in the library, I've been grinding at this for, 13 years. This is my 9th year on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years of streaming, 10 on YouTube. And I've already been full-time for 3 or 4 years. And again, I'm very blessed, to have such a good fan base. And again, I appreciate every single one of y'all, the OGs and the newbies. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired so far. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. 1410 bucks. And we gained another sub, 32 to go. 132 to get to 22,000, which is the next big goal to achieve on the channel, which we should be able to get in a few days. Next up, the Chargers and the Raiders. 60 likes, Miguel says. We only need 40 more. And the reason why the likes are so important, because the YouTube algorithm, they look at those numbers, right? And when we get to 100, then you get more recommendations for people that are looking for Bucks, Texans, or just an NFL live stream. And that will potentially get us more views, more subs, more donos, and more cool people to add on the channel. Reflect with a 3-year. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. We're at 397 to go. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 397 to go on the dono train. Appreciate you. Yancey is out. That's brutal. First down and 10 at the Houston 40. And now goes to second down and 6. Shotgun set for Stroud. Pressure up the middle. And Nico Collins, very hard to guard one-on-one. First down, Texans. Move the chains.
Oh my gosh.
McCollum getting abused by Nico Collins. And the offensive line has done a pretty good job for the Texans, and usually that's one of the weak spots for their team. We have to get pressure, and Yancey getting injured is not ideal. Chubb with a run up the middle. Get him, Vita Vea. And Dennis and Vea are there with the gang tackle. 2-yard gain, second down and 8 at the Houston 42. We got to be able to hold them to a punt here. And if we can't hold them to a punt, we got to hold them to 3. No tutties. $14-10 Buccaneers in a very entertaining first half. Much better than yesterday's Falcons-Vikings matchup. Shotgun set. Pressure off the edge. Stroud has to run. And towards the sideline. Hits him with a shimmy and a shake. We got to punch that football out. And a tackle from behind. Yaya Diaby. 6-yard rush there by C.J. Stroud. Third down and 2 at the Houston 48. And now this would be a great time for us to get our own sack lunch and hold the Texans to a punt. But again, we haven't really been able to get past the offensive line in that first unit very many times here today. Who's going to step up? It always makes me miss the days of Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp and whatnot. Let's get this sack lunch right here. And here we go. Pressure off the edge. Get him. Yes. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. And Smith with the sack. That's exactly what we wanted. You ask for a sack and you get a sack lunch. Let's go. That's exactly what we needed. Hell yeah. Keith Smith, baby. Nice job by Smith. That's exactly what we needed. Anytime you can end up getting a corner blitz, perfect. Corner and safety. Tommy Townsend, the former chief punter, to Cameron Johnson. And fair caught. Nope, goes over his head. Yeah, it would be good if we can get at least 3 on this next drive. Again, we know it's not going to always be touchdowns, right? But again, it would be nice to just gain a little bit more momentum. Obviously, a touchdown would be great so we can pull away and be up by 11. But again, we have to see, how the defense is going to play. And also we have to see how good the offensive line is going to do with both our starting tackles out. We can't really run to the outside. We have to run up the middle. And then if they know that, they're going to bring another guy up there, 8 in the box. And then at some point, Mike Evans has to get the ball. And, we got to sprinkle in Emeka Egbuka, here and there, as well as Shepard and Ryan Miller. This would be a perfect time that, obviously if we had Godwin and Jalen McMillan also, that we could sprinkle it out to those guys as well. But, Baker will spread it around to whoever's open, and he won't force it, which is nice. Field goal is good. Touchdown is great. I agree. Yeah, he's going to get Rookie of the Year. We already know that Ohio State is like wide receiver U. Obviously we know LSU with, Jamar Chase and Jay Jetta. They've had, 2 of the top 3 or 2 of the top 4 with those 2 guys. But if you look at the history of Ohio State, they've definitely produced great wide receivers over the years. And Emeka pairing him up, obviously with Baker and getting obviously mentored, by Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and the rest. It's a dream situation. And again, we know that Mike Evans and Godwin are getting a little bit older, and Emeka already, with the game-winning touchdown 2 last week, winning us a game against the Falcons. Already we said Rookie of the Year, gets another touchdown in week 2. He's already at 3. And if Emeka keeps at this pace, he might not only get the most touchdowns of a rookie, he might end up having the most touchdowns out of any wide receiver that's playing, even guys that are 5-10-year vets, which is crazy to say. So, I'm very excited to be able to see the development and the progression. But you're right. He is a very, very special player. But the thing that I like about him the most is the maturity and his intelligence. Again, when they did interviews with Mike and Baker and the crew and the coaching staff, they said that not only does he know every route in his position, he knows every route of every wide receiver on the field, and they've never seen that before. And again, they think that he's like already playing like a 5-year vet, and with 3 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, I would have to agree. Awesome player. Dream come true, steal of the draft. First down and 10 here for the Bucs. And we're at the 8-yard line. Come on, baby. Man in motion. Hand off to Irving. Come on, Bucky. And big hit there. 2-yard gain. Second down and 8 at the Tampa 10. Pup is in here now. She's hearing all the commotion. Second down and 8. You've got to get out of this, awkward position too close to the end zone. Baker hands it off. It's the hole right up the middle. What vision? Push him. There we go. First down, Buccaneers. Let's go. Bucky Irving, movie chains. Nice job, Buck. Again, we're used to watching it here in Oregon. Obviously, being on the Ducks and being able to see one of my favorite players on the Ducks go to my favorite NFL team, dream come true. Good vision by Bucky Irving, and a much better running back than Rachaad White. Rachaad makes a good complimentary back, but Bucky is definitely the one. First down and 10. First down and 10 at the 18. Emeka Egbuka in motion. Hand off up the gut because we can't run, towards the tackles because they're both injured. Gadecki and Tristan Wirfs. Wirfs has already been out because of the surgery, and Gadecki got injured in the first half. So we're going to have to run through the center and guards pretty much the whole game. Second down and 8 with the Tampa Bay 20. Baker under center. Play action fake. Pressure. And Baker gets caught from behind, but gets the ball out, and that is incomplete. C.J. Gardner-Johnson in coverage. Third down and 8 on the Tampa 20. And we're going to have to go to Mike Evans or Emeka Egbuka, Sterling Shepard, or Ryan Miller here. Or possibly Kate Otten. Come on now. Yeah, his football IQ is top tier of Egbuka. But obviously our offensive line is getting beat off the edges here, and it's going to be challenging the rest of the way. Shotgun set. They're bringing blitz. Baker towards the sideline and incomplete. Intended receiver is Mike Evans. We need a better route for Mike Evans than just something like that where Stingley can, slap it down, which he's been doing pretty much all night, getting Mike a little frustrated. Fourth down and 8, and there's the punt. And that's all the way to the Houston 33 for no gain. All right, come on, defense. I mean, if we can't win it offensively, maybe we can end up getting a fumble or a pick six or a fumble or a touchdown, something crazy. But we need to win the field position game. And again, we know that we're going to be able to score more, than just 14. But defense is playing pretty good here on both sides early in the third quarter. Good special teams play. Big tackle there by Tampa. Izzy in with the tackle. We gained a few more subs. Appreciate that. Now we only need 30 to go. 30 subs to go to 21,900. 130 to get to 22,000. Let's go. We're at 3 at the Dono train. And what are we sitting at the likes? We're trying to hit a hundo. Where are we there? If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And it looks like we're at 66. We're almost there. 34 more to go. So if we can get half of the people that are in the room to hit the like button, we'll be at the goal. Now we're at 67. 33 more to go. Let's get it, baby. And the Astros were up 2-0 on the Rangers. I just had to take a peek to see how that one was going. So hopefully the Rangers will come back. Because obviously Seattle needs to be the top dog for the Mariners to have a deep run. And we got the Chargers and the Raiders on the second half of this doubleheader. Yeah, Bucks were 2.5-point underdogs to start the game, and we haven't really had the greatest record on prime time in the last few years. Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, regardless of the opponent, it hasn't been very good for us. So if we can find a way to win this game, even by 3, if it or 4, 24-20 or 23-20, something like that, we'll take it. Anything that we can get a dub on, even if it's only by a point. A win is a win. We want to go 2-0, and the Texans want to prevent themselves from going 0-2. So, Texans are desperate, and we want to get it done. So, first down and 10 at the Houston 33, and we'll see if we can get the defense to step up here. First down and 10. Man in motion. Hand off to Marks up the middle. And that's a 3-yard gain. Good tackle there by the Bucks on defense. Zion McCollum with the tackle. Second down and 7 at the Houston 36. About 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Come on, Bucks. Try to put pressure on C.J. Stroud. And there's a good possibility Emeka Egbuka gets in the end zone again before this game is over. I mean, we definitely want to go to Mike Evans, but if they're going to, double team him, or if Stingley has got his number for this game, then, we got to be able to go to other options. Stroud under center, play action fake. Bucks with pressure up the middle. Get him! And he just avoids the sack lunch and throws it away. Great defense by the Bucks. Big pressure up front. 3 Buccaneers in his grill. Gaines and company, who already has a sack lunch today. Third down and 7 at the Houston 36. Yeah, well, both offensive lines are not looking very good today. We have Wirfs and Gadecki, both our starting tackles are out. And the Texans, traditionally haven't had a very good offensive line for the last few years. So, usually give up a lot of sack lunches, and Stroud usually is running for his life. But in the first half, the O-line for the Texans did pretty good, limiting a lot of the pressure from the Bucs. But second half has been a different story. Bring the blitz here. Third down and 7. Blitz coming. Off the edge. Yeah, baby. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Levante David, future first ballot Hall of Famer, says, sit down. There we go. Hell yeah. Fourth down and 15. Bucks forced to punt. Let's go, baby. Great defense there, and it's not just one Buccaneer that gets there. It's usually 2 or 3. Beautiful. Fourth down and 15, big punt there. And now we need to score. Can we get the touchdown now to kind of pull away? Great job by Levante David. To go from Derek Brooks to Levante David, was amazing. And really the only disappointment on the Buccaneers within the last 5 years is Devin White. Based on how great he was from LSU and how good he was in a rookie, he helped us win the Super Bowl on that side of the ball when we had Brady. And then, definitely fell off the face of the earth, and then ended up, bouncing around to a few teams, and now is pretty much non-existent. It's crazy you could be one of the best linebackers in the game coming in as a rookie and then disappear in a couple of years. But if we didn't have him when we did, we would have never went on that deep run. He was very instrumental of us getting to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. It's just kind of sad to see someone that was so talented like Devin White, not really be relevant even a few years later. 4:05 left, 14-10 Bucks, and I desperately want the second win of the year. And maybe they can go to Egbuka. Again, if Evans is going to be, double covered or covered by Stingley, again, you don't want to force it. And we don't want to throw any picks and whatnot. Offensive lines have been shaky for both teams. You can pound the rock, but eventually, you're going to need the offensive line to hold for a little bit longer for at least some type of good passing play, hopefully for Baker Mayfield to one of our receivers or possibly to one of our tight ends. 4:05 left in the third, 14-10 Bucks. I'm looking forward to watching the Chargers and the Raiders. I would assume the Chargers will win, even though it's Pete Carroll's birthday. It'll be nice to be able to see what Genty does. He'll probably get in the end zone at least once, but based on how they played the Chiefs in Week 1 in Brazil, I would assume even though they're on the road and they are, probably being doubted by some, we'll see how they play. Got to capitalize with a few first downs here. All right, we gained a few more subs, 28 to go. Based on how the Chargers played against the Chiefs in Week 1 in Brazil, normally, home teams are favored, but I got Chargers winning tonight. I think Justin Herbert is going to take off with Omari and Hampton and Najee, and they got Keenan Allen back, and Harbaugh's got Herbert motivated. And oh, here we go, down the sideline. There we go. There's my boy, ME13, Mike Evans. Move the chains. There we go. First down, Bucks. Hopefully the Raiders keep it close, though. But good to finally get Mike Evans the football after his push-off early in the first half that got called back. First down and 10. Baker, pressure, and he just throws it away. One-on-one there and just throws it towards the sideline. Intended receiver was Mike Evans, but it wasn't to anybody. Just tries to avoid the sack lunch. Second down and 10 on the Tampa 43. Both teams are blitzing at a furious pace here in the second half. Yes, I saw that. The Stros are up. Hopefully the Rangers will come back. All right, Miguel says we're at 73. I appreciate you. 27 to go to hit the goal. We've gained about 20, 25 subs in that number, so around 20. Hand off to Rachaad White. Breaks a tackle. Breaks a second tackle. Down the sideline. There we go. First down, Bucks. Move the chains. There we go. 12-yard run by Rachaad White. And that's a good 1-2 combo that we have with Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. Al-Shaair with the tackle and the push. There we go. We're starting to gain the Uncle Mo and the momentum now. You feel it. And remember, both our tackles are out. No Tristan Wirfs, who's one of the best tackles in the game, who's injured off the surgery, hasn't played yet this year. And Gadecki got hurt in the first half. So we got backups, on the line. Remember that. Over 100 yards rushing, and that's a beautiful thing. Baker, shotgun set, White again, breaking one tackle, breaking another, running over a third. Wow. First down, Buccaneers. Wow, 9 to 10 yard game. My goodness. The Rachaad White show. They have no answer for Rachaad White here, who's built a little bit bigger, obviously on the top heavy end, big shoulders, but he's got some good speed and a good agility. 3 wide receiver set, handoff to Rachaad White again. Another big run up the middle. Let's go. Go. Oh, my. He almost ran for a tutty. First down and 10 on the Houston 20. We're about to score, baby. 3 consecutive runs, and it looks like a Texan player is knocked out. Hopefully he's okay. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who has a history of injuries, and it's first down and 10 at the Houston 20. And again, we can keep running the ball, and then eventually when they think it's a run, play action, Mike Evans touchdown. Play action, Emeka Egbuka for his second tutty. And again, if we get to 21-10, this one, I don't want to say is over, but we're going to be definitely in good position if we get the tutty here. Let's go. Go Bucks. Let's go. Gained another sub, 27 to go. We're at 3 on the Dono train, 97 to go on that end. And we've gained about 20 subs so far. Let's see if we can get to 30. And let's take a look at the views that we've accrued so far. We're doing really good. I assume 10 to 14,000 is where we're going to be at. And where are we at right now? We're at 9,500. So we're going to break 10,000 before the stream ends. So we're off on a good note right here. 9,500 views. Let's see if we can get to that 10 to 12,000 range or higher. Let's go. This team is special. And like I said, you got the teams like the Packers, right? The Eagles, right? The Buccaneers, the Lions, the Rams. Those look like, and the Falcons. Those look like the top dogs in the NFC. And then you got the Bills and the Ravens. I believe the Chargers are going to be in that mix. The Colts early on with Danny Dimes are looking pretty good. But again, it's very, very early, in the season. But NFC got quite a few teams that look like, they're going to be doing something. On the AFC, they look like the weaker conference this year. AFC South kind of looks terrible besides the Colts. And I don't know if anyone really believes in them on making a deep run. Like, can the Colts actually beat the Bills or Ravens? Probably not, right? They're doing good early on right now, which is great for them. But obviously, not the greatest. AFC West is really competitive, but we'll see what we get as that division moves forward. Potentially the Chargers might be the team that comes out of that division. And obviously the Bills and Ravens look the best. So, well, they're 0-2. So if you look at teams that start off 0-2, they typically don't make the playoffs, or they're going to be a wild card team that's like 10-7. And honestly, the Chiefs are getting old. It's not like Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones with Andy Reid and Spags are getting any younger. You can be elite for a while, but eventually you're going to fall off. And this might be the year where they fall off. And again, they might be a wild card team, but I don't know if anyone really believes in them. First down and 10. I mean, you might be able to be better than some of the other teams, but you're not better than the Bills or Ravens. Handoff, and a good defensive play there, only a gain of a yard. There by Rachaad White. They're going Rachaad White heavy here. Worse than the league in rushing in 2022-2023. Last season where we were fourth. And we're trying to be in the top 5 in rushing yards per game again this year. I mean, Mahomes doesn't really look like the Mahomes that he was a few years ago. The team looks a little weaker. And they have injuries too. Baker, pump fake. And going to Emeka Egbuka, but just outside of range, incomplete. And now it's 3rd down and 9. They love the post route to Emeka Egbuka. You believe that. 3rd down and 9 at the Houston 19. And, don't be shocked if Egbuka gets another tutty, at some point in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Yeah, Egbuka wasn't able to get the separation that he needed there. Third down and 9. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Baker looking at Evans. One-on-one. And fade route. And he's out of bounds. Incomplete. And we're going to bring out McLaughlin for the field goal. And we'll go up 17-10 here. There's just no room right there for Evans or Egbuka on the last 2 throws. Good defense by the secondary of the Texans on back-to-back plays. And field goal is missed. Are you kidding me? Oh, McLaughlin, you bum. Oh, brutal. 14-10 Bucks. And normally that's a chip shot for McLaughlin. What is he doing? Damn it. McLaughlin shanked it. And normally, field goal kickers, nothing is guaranteed, anymore for extra points or kicks. God damn it. And we're still up 14-10. Doink. Should have been an easy chip shot there. If that was Martin Gramatica, that would have been automatic. Hell, even Matt Bryant would have made that one. Laces were out, and he fucking doinked it. God damn it. It's not like that was from 50 or 60. That was in, easy range. 38? Come on, McLaughlin, you fucking idiot. Brutal. Missed opportunity by the Bucks there to go up by 7, and now we're going to have to rely on our defense to force another 3 and out or, get a big fumble, pick, or sack lunch. 1:01 left in the 3rd, 14-10 Buccaneers. Brutal. I'm going to go grab a water here real quick. All right, come on, Bucks. Finish strong. Again, I feel like extra points and field goals are not guaranteed. And again, that should have been automatic, but nothing is automatic, lately. Things that used to be automatic back in the 80s and 90s no longer are. Even Koo got fired after week 1, missing the game-winning field goal against the Bucs, and they brought in Romo, and he went off yesterday, and we'll see where it goes. Unfortunate miss out there with the field goal, but hopefully we'll be able to get the defense back out there to make some big plays, and we need to find a way to win this game. Thank you. Yeah, new one. I just got it. I had to represent for this year. I got the hard hat and I got the beanie, but again, NFL Shop doesn't really have a lot of quality. They had maybe 1 or 2, and I thought this was the best one. So 7-yard run right there by Nick Chubb. Weird to see him on the Texans, but again, good for him to be able to be back in the NFL. Still going. Yeah, my voice is still here. I'm doing streams pretty much every day. Mariners, throughout Monday through Friday. Mariners and Ducks on Saturday. And then obviously Buccaneers on Sunday or Monday. We're grinding. 2nd down and 3. Pressure up the middle. Pass incomplete. And we have a penalty here. And that's a legal contact on Tampa. Damn it. Automatic 1st down. And we just hit 10,000 views on the stream. Let's see if we can get to 12 or 13 or 14 before the stream is up. Like, sub, donate, comment, and share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we've already gained like 20 to 30 subs. Let's see how many more we can get. 1st down and 10 after that penalty. Pressure off the edge, little check down. And Schultz getting past the 50-yard line. 1st down, Texans, and that's the end of the quarter. 14-10 Buccaneers, 2nd down and 1 at the Houston 49 as we go to the 4th. Yeah, Zach. But again, the Ducks ended up playing their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th stringer starting from the mid-3rd quarter. So obviously anytime you end up giving up big plays like that, it sucks. But again, when you're betting on a game, you never bet on the Ducks on the road. You bet at home, because you know that they're not going to be as good on the road. And that speaks for everyone. Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, whoever. The games are, when they're at home, you can expect big wins, depending on the opponent. But when you're on the road, even if it's against a team that, may be unranked and, you're going to win, but, especially if you're up by a certain amount and then they bring in backups. Hell, at the end of the game in the 4th quarter, half the defense was freshmen. So, and again, if we had our starters out there, that big run wouldn't have happened for the Tutties. So, but at the end of the day, we won. But obviously for the people that are betting, a lot of people ended up, losing out on those bets. So, nice. All right, 14-10 Bucks. We got 15 minutes left to try to go 2-0 here. And then we'll be doing Mariners and Royals on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Mariners and Astros. We do have the Russell-Palooza on Saturday, Oregon State, Washington State for the Civil War and the Apple Cup. And then obviously the matchups on Sunday and Monday. So I will have to kind of, see the time of the events, and we'll have to figure out what ones we're going to be doing. But we'll probably be doing 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, as long as they're not back-to-back, so I have a voice. So. But we're going to beat the shit out of Oregon State. That's going to be a 20, 30, 40, 50-point blowout. And then obviously when we go on the road to Penn State, that might be the first loss for the Ducks, unless we end up, starting strong. That's going to be a harsh environment. And again, if we lose to Penn State and lose to the Huskies at the end of the year in Seattle, I only see us potentially losing 2 games and going 10-2 at the worst. 11-1 is probably the most realistic. And then if we end up winning on the road at Penn State and Washington, then we're going to go 12-0. But I don't want to go 12-0 if we're going to have a month off in the college football playoff, because that's what happened last year. And, if you have a month off, you're going to lose, just like every team that ended up having a bye. So it's kind of better if you lose 1 or 2 games and then continuously play until they change the format in the college football playoff. They're not rewarding you by going 12-0. They're penalizing you. So, all right, Bucks. We need a Emeka Egbuka game-winning touchdown again, possibly. Yeah, we are in commercial. All right, 76, 24 more to go. 2nd down and 1. Stroud under center on 2nd down and 1. Pressure up the middle. And he's got an open man to the 40, to the 30. And a big tackle there. Big gain. 1st down, Texans on the Tampa Bay 23. C.J. Stroud to Higgins. Antoine Winfield Jr. with the tackle. And now they are threatening. We got to hold them to 3 if we can. I mean, we're already over 10,000 views on the stream, and hopefully we can end up hitting 12 or 14 before it's over. 14-10 Bucks. And again, starting tackles for the Bucks are out, Wirfs and Gadecki, so that's definitely a disadvantage, but we're going to try our best to try to get this dub. Handoff up the middle. And a nice tackle by the Buccaneer defense. Loss of 1 by Nick Chubb. Tyke Smith making some moves and making some plays. 2nd down and 11 on the Tampa 24. We need to hold them to a field goal. Now, we thought Denver's defense would be better than that, but you guys took advantage. Come on, baby. 3rd down and 11. Incoming if we can stop him here on 2nd and 11. 2nd down and 11. C.J. Stroud, pressure up the middle. And throws it towards the sideline, tipped, and almost intercepted. 3rd down and 11 on the Tampa 24. C.J. Stroud going to Nico Collins for the intended receiver. Good defense there by the Buccaneers. Yeah, I never call games being biased, ever. I mean, that's what we're known for. You know, we appreciate greatness wherever it's at. No matter if I'm calling my team or, another team, we're going to appreciate C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, whoever is making the big plays. Again, that's the difference between me and a lot of the other, streamers that are out there. It'll never be one-sided. It never will be a Buck stream. It'll always be a Texan and a Buck stream or whoever the matchup is. 3rd down and 11. Stroud looking. He's open. Big catch. 1st down, Texans. 1st and goal on the Tampa 8 to Dalton Schultz. Move the chains. Tyke Smith there. And now the Bucks are potentially going to be down by 3 unless we can make a big play here. 1st and goal on the Tampa 8. We need a turnover bad. Great play by C.J. Stroud to Dalton Schultz. And we need an interception, a fumble. We need a miraculous play here, but the momentum is definitely with C.J. Stroud on this drive. 2nd and goal. Incoming if we can stop on 1st and goal. 4 wide receiver set on 1st and goal. No running backs in the backfield. Quick throw. And 7-yard catch. Nico Collins down to the, 1-yard line? And now it's 2nd and goal. They can hand it off to Nick Chubb for a tutty, which would probably happen here momentarily. Got to get the hands up with the defensive line. 2nd and goal. Hand off to Nick Chubb for nothing. No gain there. Vita Vea says not today. Great stuff by Vita. And now it's 3rd and goal. We got to hold them to a field goal here. Please. Hold them to a field goal. Come on now. 3rd and goal. Come on, Vita Vea. And C.J. Stroud on 3rd and goal. Incomplete to Nico Collins. 4th and goal. Let's go. Hell yeah. Now, would they go for it here on the 1? Or do you just kick the field goal? Let's see if they respect the Tampa D or not here on 4th and goal. Wow. What do the Texans do here? I mean, the smart thing to do is kick the field goal. But again, we'll see how smart they really are. You know, teams are very greedy, you know, when they get into the red zone, especially when they're at the 1. And CJ Stroud on 4th down. They're going for it, and they don't get it. Here we go. Hell yeah. Buccaneers hold at the 1-yard line. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's go. Big turnover. Dumb decision by the Texans. You could be down by 1, but you got greedy, and the Tampa Bay defense steps up on 4th and goal. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Now, obviously, we got to prevent, you know, the safety from happening. And realistically, when you're on the 1, you're probably going to punt, you know, so it's going to be playing the field position game. But with that being said, holding them from scoring 3 or a touchdown, well, that was huge. I mean, let's be real. How many teams could stop a team that was on that momentum run and stop them to nothing? Not many. And again, if we didn't have Vita Vea, that doesn't fucking happen. So, you know, when you have a Warren Sapp clone, that definitely helps. Now, the only way to get out of this situation, you got to get like a 15, 20-yard pass to at least get to the 20 to gain a little breathing room. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but, you know, hopefully Mike Evans or Egbuka can get open, and then we can march down the field and then hopefully get 3 or, you know, preferably 6, since McLaughlin already missed that last field goal. But great hold by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. $99-yard, 12-play drive. I mean, talk it into existence, please. You know, give me Emeka Egbuka another second touchdown. 4 in 2 weeks would be great. And then all of a sudden we go up 21-10, and, you know, then I wouldn't say the game is over, but if it's 21-10 with like 7 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go at that point, you know, realistically we would win at that point, you would think. So, but again, if we can get one of these like epic Baker Mayfield drives, that would be awesome. But again, the offensive line, no Wirfs, no Gadecki. We don't have our starting tackles in there. We got some backups in there. So, you know, and you can only really run up the middle. We don't want to get a safety. So we'll see if we come back from this commercial break. Hopefully something positive happens here. Nice stop by the Buccaneer D. $26 subs to go. We gained a few more. 26 subs to go to 21,900. 126 to get to 22,000. And we're at 11,000 views on the stream. Almost there. 10,800 and counting. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And we're trying to hit 30 to 50 subs. Let's go. First down and 10 on the 1-yard line. Baker under center. Hands off. Bucky Irving. Rumbling and a bumbling. 4-yard gain. Second down and 6 on the Tampa 5. Good job. A little bit of breathing room there for the Buccaneers. 14-10 Bucks. I mean, this is going to be a hard-earned win. We have not been good in prime time the last 2 to 3 years. We're not good on Monday night, Sunday night, or Thursday night lately, but we can change that trend in 2025 here today. Second down and 6. Baker under center. Man in motion. Baker. And stuffed. Harris with the tackle. And flag on the play. I think that's on Texans. Automatic first down. Please. Face mask. I'm pretty sure it's face mask. Please. Yes. 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 Face mask. Let's go. Huge. Uh-oh. Christian Harris. Here we go. And that's the call that we needed. And let's see if it legit was a face mask. Oh, yeah. He's trying to break his neck. Christ. Don't try to injure Bucky Irving, you bastard. There we go. That's the momentum that we needed. Self-inflicted wounds by the Texan defense. Thank you so much. First down and 10 on the Tampa 20. Breathing room. I got Chargers winning, Zach. Justin Herbert. Omarion Hampton. Najee in that defense. Shotgun set. Baker. Hands up off the middle. Second down and 10. No gain there. Lassiter with the tackle there by the Texans. Come on, Bucks. Got to find a way. And again, remember, McLaughlin had a missed field goal a few minutes back. We could be up 17-10 right now. We got to dig deep here. Second down and 10. Shotgun set to Baker. Quick pass. Come on, Cade Otton. What the fuck is that? Drop pass by Otton. Third down and 10. Now, Otton won't get any opportunities the rest of the game. I mean, if Baker's going to throw to you, I need you to catch that ball. Third down and 10. Come on, Baker. And there we go. Baker rumbling and a bumbling. 17 yards. Anderson with the tackle. First down, Buccaneers. Fuck yeah. Let's go. I'm not saying that's game, but that was a big play by Baker Mayfield. Blitz is coming. Look at the athleticism by Baker Mayfield. Move the chains. Uh-oh, is he hurt though? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought maybe his ankle he got rolled up on. DJ Gardner-Johnson talking shit. Baker will talk right back. First down, Buccaneers. Big play. First down and 10 on the Tampa 36. Tick, 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 tick. Now we want to make sure we punch it in here. Give me a Emeka Egbuka for his second tutty or Mike Evans. Come on, baby. Let's go. 16 for 27, 143 yards, 2 tutties. And we're going to keep pounding the rock, but eventually we need to throw the ball as well. First down and 10. Baker, screen pass. Big hit. But a flag on the play. Uh-oh, illegal contact. Texans shooting themselves in the foot, and I love it. Here we go. Illegal contact in that secondary. Thank you, Lassiter. Penalty 6 on the Texans. And you can't win games when you have penalties like that. Self-inflicted wounds. But the Bucs have had their fair share of penalties themselves as they get a false start right here. Come on, Tampa. First down and 10, now first down and 15. Come on, baby. Let's go. We got to win this. Can't have self-inflicted wounds. We got 8:11 left here in the fourth quarter. First down and 15, 14-10 Bucs. The penalties have been a little bit more significant, though, on the Texan side so far. We can definitely rumble a little bit with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving, but at some point we're going to need to go to Evans or Emeka Egbuka to move the chains at some point. First down and 15. Shotgun set for Baker. 4 wide receiver set. Handoff. And a nice 5-yard gain as he breaks 2 tackles. 5-yard carry by Bucky. Less than 8 minutes to go here. Come on, Tampa. Second down and 10. Shotgun set, 3 wide receiver set. Quick pass to Sterling Shepard. And a nice catch there, 7-yard pass, and a manageable 3rd down and 3 on the Tampa 48. We need to keep moving the ball. Let's march it all the way for a touchdown. Let's go. Big 3rd down, biggest 3rd down of the game. 3rd down and 3 at the Tampa 48. 14-10 Buccaneers. The new offensive coordinator at the helm for Tampa this season. Come on, Bucs. We are the crew. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Baker. Looking. Fumble. Fuck. And Rachaad White falls on it. Holy hell. And luckily, the Bucs fall back on the football. Come on, Baker. You got to be better. And now Rachaad White is down. And it looks like he's injured. Fucking A. Hopefully Rachaad White isn't seriously hurt. Now it's 4th down and 7 on the Tampa 44. There you go. You got the rushing yards by Baker. Gosh, and Baker normally doesn't drop the football like that. That's very rare for him. But at least it wasn't a scoop and score by the Texans. If we're trying to be somewhat positive, but I mean, you would assume now we have to punt. I mean, it's 4th and 7 on the Tampa 44. It'd be stupid to go for it. We got to try to peel them back into field position game here and just rely on our defense to get to CJ Stroud, and hopefully the defense can win it for us here. Congrats on your win, man. Anytime you can win a little bit of money is always good. We got 25 subs to go to be able to hit our sub goal to 21,900. We're at 3 on the dono train, 97 to go on that end. And I don't know where we're at on the likes, but hopefully we're close to 100. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes. And let's take a look at the views on the stream where we're at. And we're at 11,400 people and counting. Let's go. Commercial break. 6:49 left in the 4th. 14-10 Buccaneers after Baker fumbled and Rachaad White landed on the football, but he injured himself. And Danielle Hunter was obviously right there. And I assume that we're going to punt here and rely on our defense. Now we're at 11,500. See if we can get to 12, 13,000 before the game is up. Oh, man, what a game. Very close. I was kind of thinking it could be, a 23-20 game. Either team could win. And it's a little even lower scoring than that. But I'm just hoping and praying that we can find a way to win. I mean, I don't care if it's by 1. Just find a way to win and start the season off 2-0. He was in the game earlier, but he dropped the pass that Baker threw to him. 4th down and 6. And Riley Dixon about to punt it off here. Jalen Knoll, the rookie, waiting to receive. And the punt is blocked. Whoa! No way. Unbelievable blocked punt by Houston. And that just swung the momentum tremendously. Holy hell. And now we're really going to be in a pressure cooker now with the defense. Come on. Get that fucking punt off. Christ. Big block punt by Houston. Jesus Christ, dude. You're taking forever to punt that football off. You don't got 5 seconds to do it, my guy, you idiot. Terrible punt attempt. That might have been the slowest punt I've seen in like ever. First down and 10. Shotgun set for CJ Stroud, looking at Hutchinson, incomplete. Second down and 10 on the Tampa 35. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been a fan of, it's the only team I root for outside of Oregon and Washington teams, and I've been a fan for 30 years, so. Hand off to Nick Chubb, no yard gain. I like that, baby. Third down and 10. Come on, defense. Let's go. Let them know, Marine Bean. Let them know, Tyler. We only need 20 more to hit that number. Let's go. Third down and 10 on the Tampa 35. Let's see if we can get a sack lunch here and end this momentum that the Texans are trying to bring. Third down and 10, CJ Stroud. Pass incomplete to Nico Collins. Here we go. Fourth down and 10 on the Tampa 35. What does Houston do? Great defense by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after having Baker fumble. But remember, we were on our 1 yard line, and they went for it on, fourth down, and we stopped them on the goal line. And defense has come up big. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. That should have been an interception right there. How do you drop that on third down and 10? Ridiculous. Levante David normally comes up with that pick, too. Unbelievable. And field goal is up and good. 14-13 Bucks. All right, now we just have to find a way to hang on to the football, kick a field goal, or get a touchdown to win this game. Levante David, 9 times out of 10, that's an interception, maybe even a pick six. And a big 53-yard attempt by Fairbairn is good. And the Bucks are up by 1. Let them know. My 2 lead mods aren't here today. So obviously for all the people that are in the room that are regulars, it's up to you to help me out to get those last 20 likes for the people that are in the room. If you're enjoying the stream, and again, want to be able to, get more people to be able to support the channel, it takes 1 second. And again, we have more than, there's like 100 people in the room that haven't done it. So if we can get 20 out of 100, we'll be there. So, and it's not like we're not getting views. We're already at 12,000 people, 12,000 views, 11,800 and counting. So, if we're not going to hit the dono goal, we can at least hit the sub goal and the like goal. We need 16 more likes to get there. We have 100 people in the room that haven't hit the like button. Now we're at 87. 13 people out of 100. If 13 people hit it, we're there. That's not asking too much. I appreciate that. For newbies, they may not know how hard I work, but again, to be able to do like every Mariner game, doing the Ducks games, doing the NFL games, do Kraken and Blazers and NASCAR and WWE. There's not very many people that can do what I do on a regular basis. So I appreciate the kind words and the support. All right, here we go, Bucks. First down and 10. We need Baker Mayfield to lead us to a game-winning drive right here. And again, if McLaughlin didn't miss that fucking field goal, we would be in much better position to win this game. Time to give the ball to Emeka Egbuka. All right, Chris says we're at 90, 10 more to go. Let's get there, baby. And how do you get a blocked punt on top of that, too? Christ. All right, we're at 95 now. 96, 4 more to go. We're going to get there. Come on, Baker. Halfback toss to Bucky Irving. Great defense by the Texans. And that's nothing. No gain. Second down and 10 on the Tampa 35. Come on, Tampa. shotgun set. Baker to Rachaad White. And good tackle there. 2-yard gain. 3rd down and 8 on the Tampa 37. That ain't going to cut it. And now we got to get it to Emeka Egbuka or Mike Evans to get this big first down. It could be Ryan Miller. It could be, Sterling Shepard. But again, big 3rd down. Biggest 3rd down in the game. Please, come on now. But again, we have both our starting tackles out. So, and Mayfield is sacked. Big sack. 4th down and 16. Big loss on Baker Mayfield. Loss of 8. Will Anderson making his presence known. Roll Tide. And now it's 4th down and 16. Jesus Christ. And that's what happens when you have your starting 2 tackles out. Fucking A, dude. And now Tampa will have to punt. Only up by fucking 1. We're going to have to really rely on the defense to win this game for us. And Baker's got to get rid of that quicker. Shows you how important tackles are to your offensive line. Especially when you have one of the best in the NFL not playing, Tristan Wirfs. And then Gadecki got hurt in the first half. 1st down and 10 now to the Tampa 26. And obviously, wow, look at this return. Jesus Christ. Big return. But there's a flag on the play. 53-yard return. Chief in the building with a tenner. Appreciate that, man. Tampa's special teams has been some garbage here lately. Stacks. Wax with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. So they picked up the penalty. Fucking A. Now they're going to score more than likely. Hopefully we can hold them to 3, make it 16-14, and then we kick a field goal to win 17-16. I mean, that might have to be the formula here unless we can get a big turnover. Appreciate you, Chief. Will Chief. Oh, man. Fucking offensive line playing like shit. Special teams looking terrible. Defense giving up too many big plays. And Houston gaining momentum here at home. We haven't been able to get the ball to Emeka Egbuka or Mike Evans here in the second half, and now they're threatening. Yeah, started off with a lot of offense in the first half, but it's been all D here in the second. We're getting exposed with our injuries here in the second half. Fuck. 3 minutes to go. 1st down and 10, handoff to Nick Chubb, and that's a 1-yard gain. Good defense by the Bucs. We have to hold to a field goal, 16-14. McLaughlin makes up for his bugaboo error, missing his field goal earlier at 38, and then we win 17-16 with a field goal. That's the formula. I mean, unless they score a touchdown here, and then we might be fucked, but let's see what happens. Wirfs will probably be back in a few more weeks. I would assume like week 4, week 5, week 6, something like that. He had surgery in the offseason, so not having him is killing us. And then Gadecki, the other tackle, who's pretty good, got injured in the first half. So a bunch of fucking scrub backups in there, and they're getting their ass kicked. 2nd down and 9. And touchdown! Nick Chubb, 19-14 Texans. But at least we have plenty of time now. We give Baker Mayfield 2 minutes. He can go down the field and get a touchdown, and we can win this game still. So I guess barely... let him score, and then let's see if we can actually get the touchdown here. But now it's going to be up to Baker Mayfield to do what he did against the Falcons and win the game for us with 2 minutes to go. And if you give Baker 2 minutes, just like Jinxie will say, you got a chance. 25-yard rush by Nick Chubb. Weird seeing him in a Texan uniform, but great job there. Yeah, great blocking up front by the Texans. That's all you can say there. There's no way that Antoine Winfield Jr. had the angle. Now they're going for 2. Come on, Bucks. 2-point attempt. Shotgun set. And get his ass. Yeah! And they got him. Hell yeah. 2-point conversion, no good. Big sack lunch there on C.J. Stroud. And now if Baker goes down with a touchdown, we win. And again, I think that we have a very good chance. Like Bucca, like Evans, we can do exactly what we did last week against the Falcons. Again, it's hard to win this way, but again, there's not too many guys that I would want, other than Baker Mayfield, besides maybe Josh Allen, Lamar, Jalen Hurts. With 2 minutes to go, Baker can do it. And hopefully the offensive line will hold long enough for us to win this game 21-19. And at least we have 2 minutes, not 30 seconds. Because if we had 30 seconds, we probably would be fucked. Let's be real. With 2 offensive linemen down, right? But with 2 minutes and 10 seconds, that might have been a bugaboo there for the Texans scoring too fast. And hopefully we'll be able to make them pay like we made Atlanta pay for it last week in week number 1. All right, we hit 100 likes. Thank you so much. We got 205 in the room. Now we're at 101. Let's see if we can hit 125 before the stream ends. Yeah, it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. But again, with offensive line injuries, it makes me nervous. And decent return there with a flag on the play. Hopefully that's on the Texans. Fuck offensive holding. Of course it is. Son of a bitch. All right, first down and 10 now at the 20 instead of the 30. Fuck, we got to go 80 yards. But again, we do have Emeka Egbuka, rookie of the year, more than likely. He's already got a touchdown today and 2, obviously, in week 1. And we might need Emeka to get another touchdown, 2 week 1, 2 week 2. And again, we know we have, options with Evans and Egbuka. No Jalen McMillan, right? No Chris Godwin. We don't trust Kate Otten right now. So, again, it's got to be Ryan Miller, Sterling Shepard, Mike Evans, but preferably Emeka Egbuka. First down and 10. Baker, check down. Go, go, go. Go, Bucky, go. First down, Bucks on the Tampa 32. And then we got the 2-minute warning. Great job there. Let's go, Bucks. God, this is stressful as shit, man. It's already stressful, when we almost lost the game to Atlanta, and then Baker came up big with Egbuka, with the game-winning touchdown, and now we're having to do the exact same thing again. Not ideal, to start off like this, on the road, first 2 weeks, but got to try to find a way. Oh, and I wish Tristan Wirfs and Gadecki were playing, and it would make me a lot more confident, having a healthy offensive line. But, to have 2 or 3 backups playing right now, not ideal, but hopefully Baker will have just enough time and our playmakers will get enough yards after the catch. And again, we have 2 minutes, so at least we have that going for us, I guess. So. We got a good matchup after this with the Chargers visiting the Raiders. We got 3 timeouts, and we just had the 2-minute warning. So we got 3 timeouts, and hopefully Egbuka ends up being the hero. Either him or Mike Evans or Bucky or whoever. It's like you can use Bucky to gain the yardage from the 20 to the 20, and then at some point we got to, hope that we get a Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka game-winning touchdown. And Emeka scored in the first half already. He's got 3 touchdowns as a rookie. He'll get Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about that. But if he can get 2 touchdowns in week 1 and have a game winner in week 1 and 2 touchdowns in week 2 and a game winner in week 2, when have we ever seen a rookie wide receiver do that? And the answer is we haven't. So this would be huge. Oh, push in the back. Where was the call? And we had a big fourth down goal line stop when they were at the 1, and that saved the game for us earlier in the matchup too. Shotgun set. Baker. Pressure coming. And little check down. Short gain. Second down and 10. Baker pass incomplete to Mike Evans. Fuck, man. Third down and 10. And they were going deep in double coverage. He hasn't been, on a good connection with Mike. And now we're getting to a point where you don't go to Mike Evans anymore. You have to go to Sterling Shepard or Emeka Egbuka. Third down and 10. Pass deep right to Egbuka. Incomplete. Fuck. Fourth down and 10. And this is going to be the last play right here. You would assume. There's no point in punting at this point. Oh, fuck. And Egbuka just can't come down with it. Jesus Christ. And on fourth down, Baker Mayfield, go, baby, go! Yes! First down, Bucks! First down and 10 on the Tampa 47. Fuck yeah! Let's go! Tackle by C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Big run. Baker Mayfield, go! 15 yards. First down, Bucks. Hell yeah! I mean, that was do or die right there. Unbelievable. Baker with another big run off a blitz. Unbelievable, baby! First down and 10. 8-yard pass from Baker to Cade Otton, the Husky. Second down and 2 at the Houston 45. Let's go. And Baker with 2 big runs today. Let's go. Come on, Bucks. Find a way. I don't care how. We're rolling now. Here we go. Second down and 2 as he goes out of bounds. Cade Otton, the Husky, at the Houston 45, and then timeout is called. Wow. Thank God we got that big Baker Mayfield run. He's done that multiple times today. Squeezes through a gap that most quarterbacks wouldn't be able to. And they were playing man, not zone. And Baker's athleticism is keeping us close at this moment. $52 seconds left. Unbelievable, man. Let him know, Tyler. And I've been a Bucs fan for 30 years, so this isn't like child's play where I'm like some bandwagon fan or something, I've been a fan since the, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, era. Oh my, Baker! Bucky Irving, yeah, baby, let's go. First down and 10 at the Houston 23. Let's go. Timeout call. Let's go. Hell yeah. Big play. Timeout, Tampa Bay. First down and 10 in the Houston 23. Let's go. We got all the Uncle Mo and the momentum, baby. Big play by Bucky Irving. Hit him with the shimmy and the shake. Look at the broken tackles. Beautiful. Well, if you don't know stats, Tyler, Baker Mayfield's got the second most touchdowns in the NFL since 2023. I imagine you didn't know that. So, again, Baker is a lot better than people really want to give him credit for. He's a top 10 quarterback in the league, and he plays like a top 5 sometimes throughout the season. So, there's going to be guys that are going to be more popular like Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, but Baker is a perfect fit for this team. And honestly, everyone would fail on fucking Cleveland. Cleveland Browns are fucking failures. Anybody's there is not going to succeed. Everyone knows that. 42 seconds left, 19-14 Texans, and we need Baker Mayfield to lead us to victory here. 5-yard pass, Mayfield to Bucky Irving. Second down and 5 at the Houston 18. Let's go. Here we go, baby. 11-yard pass. Mayfield to Mike Evans. First down, Buccaneers. First and goal at the Houston 7. We're going to win this, baby. Let's go. Let's go. First and goal at the Houston 7. Let's go. What a fucking comeback. Let's finish it. Five-yard pass, second and goal to the Houston 2. Baker Mayfield to Cade Otton with 13 seconds to go. Come on, Bucs. Come on. We got to win just like we did against Atlanta from behind. Let's go. Second and goal with 13 seconds left at the 2. Mayfield is Jesus. Timeout is called. 9 seconds left. Second and goal at the 2. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, the smart decision would go with Bucky Irving and have him score. That would be the smart decision to go, right? But we'll see. Come on, Tampa. Rachaad White is in the game. I don't care who scores. I don't care if it's Baker scrambling in, Bucky, Rachaad White, Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans, Ryan Miller, Sterling Shepard. You know, I don't give a fuck who it is. It's somebody get in. Come on, baby. What a comeback. And we have our starting tackles out. Tristan Wirfs and Gadecki, touchdown! Buccaneers! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Rachaad White, touchdown, Bucs! Fuck! Yeah! Boom! Let's go! Hell yeah! What a comeback! All the injuries that we've had, huge! Unbelievable. And we missed a field goal by fucking McLaughlin earlier, which this game would be already fucking over. Six seconds left in the game. Oh, man, I'm telling you, Baker's got the second most touchdowns out of any quarterback since 2023. So for anyone that thinks that Baker isn't good, he's proving that he is good. He's a top 10 quarterback that plays like a top 5 more times than not. Rachaad White with that big touchdown up the middle, and he got injured after the Baker Mayfield fumble a few minutes ago. Two-point attempt. Shotgun set. Baker looking, and throws it. Incomplete. Fuck. All right, now we just have to pray that the defense can hold, and we win by 1 point. And remember earlier in the game, I said, I don't care if we win by 1. It's ironic that fucking the score is 20-19. You kidding me? Wow. But again, special teams has not been very good. So again, if they get, there's only 6 seconds left. But again, I've seen, Tampa blow games like this. So we just have to pray that we're going to be good enough to not allow a late second field goal and we can get the job done. But the Texans beat the fuck us up big time here today. But Baker, what a stud, finding a way. Yeah, man. I mean, again, Oregon Ducks, Tampa Bay Bucks, Seattle Mariners, my 3 main teams are all in contention of having amazing years this year. And kickoff there. And that is it. That is it, baby. Final score, Tampa Bay Bucks 20, Texans 19. Fuck yeah! Let's go! You kidding me? Unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Final score, Tampa Bay 20, Texans 19. The Bucks improved to 2-0, right there with the Eagles and the Packers. The Texans dropped to 0-2. Unbelievable. Thanks, you Chief. Well, Chief, man, emotional, man. These first 2 weeks, being down and then having to battle back. But again, anyone that's doubting Baker Mayfield isn't a top 10 quarterback, check the stats. Again, he plays like a top 5 guy more times than not. Huge win. Being behind in the fourth quarter against Atlanta, no problem. Being down late against the Texans on the road, no problem. And the Bucks now are 2-0. Let's go. Awesome. Well, my day is complete. Now I got to take some time to spend with the pup. You guys enjoy the Chargers and the Raiders, and I'll be live tomorrow for the Mariners and the Royals on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as well as the Mariners and the Astros, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know if we're going to be doing WrestlePalooza for WWE on Saturday, and then obviously we have Ducks and the Oregon State Beavers on Saturday, Huskies and Cougars on Saturday, and then Sunday games as well. Wow, unbelievable. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And we ended up hitting some monster numbers on this stream. That was unfucking believable. And let's see where we're at. We hit over the 100 likes, which is great. And then let's look at the numbers here with the stream. Where did we hit? We ended up hitting a pretty good number here. Gained a few more subs as well. 19 to go. Hit 21,900. Gained like 50 subs on this stream alone, which is awesome. And what did we hit actually on numbers on the stream? We hit 14,200 and counting. Let's go. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Final score, Buccaneers 20, Texans 19. And now he is 2-0, and I'm loving it. And I'm out. Go Bucks.